Nora is, and as she wipes the sleep from her eyes, she wonders, does the Unum ever leave that tower? Can she...
Okie dokie! It's about damn time I streamed again. Here we are. Hey everyone. How ya all doing? Okay.
Come on, sweet things. Give it up.
Okay. Let's have a look at what the Nightwave is.
What's on your mind, dreamers?
So, I've actually already done the Sortie Specialist. And I've also done the Forward Thinking one. Ironically enough, the Forward Thinking one being a... Oh no, sorry, I've done the Forward Thinking one, so that's fine. Trampoline, easy enough. So, let's literally just start from the top. Okay. Complete two more assassination missions.
Get back to it.
I could do the super duper easy one, but I won't. Let's see if I can play with some music as well. So, there we go. Derelict emissary assassinate is a thing? Derelict. Ah. I didn't even know. Hey Gavin, you finally made it! You finally made it! Took you long enough. Okay, I'm just gonna burn through the 20 plat. Screw it, I don't care. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Oh man, is that chat? Is my chat broken again? Oh no, I'm in UK. Oh, you've got time zone shenanigans, eh? Well, there we go. Ah. Okay, so the first one I'm gonna do is the triple assassination one. And in order to do the triple assassination one, I'm going to be soloing Emissary, Assassinate, and Lephantis using the Platinum Arrow. So, let's see how we go. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a giant meme, because I do remember doing the Emissary Assassinate last time by myself, and it was kind of weird, but it's been a while since I did it, so we'll see.
Welcome. From Paris we come.
Already getting attacked by my thing. Oh, how do I do this again? Okay. Now, if I remember correctly, I need to go and grab a lantern. Is any music playing?
Bastions protect the congregation. They must not steal our light. What you stole, I retrieve. I live again. Protect Arlo's flame. Your strength, valuable. Yourself, worth.
I wonder if DE will update this tile set in due time.
You have not earned his gift. Bastions, give to me.
Oh, man. Kinda need to keep up the energy for Crush, because when I use Crush, I can basically get rid of everything that's healing him. Although he's not really healing by a whole lot, so this should be okay.
We shall wash the self out of you. Imposter. Bastions, be generous.
Who are you healing off? Oh my god, that's my aim wrong.
Arlo's flame protects us, and us it.
Whoa! Whoop.
Paradise comes for you. Darkness for you. Arlo's flame protects us, and us it.
Okay, let's see. Oh, no way! Dead. Easy. Ah. Alrighty.
Hey, yeah.
Oh. Pathos is as strong as a normal weapon instead of a throwing weapon? That's kind of hilarious. Alright, let's take Levantis.
We need to find the VIP and take them down. Do not let the target escape. Come on! It was difficult to locate the source vector of this sector's infestation, but you are finally here. Deep within this millennia-old Orokin-infested ship lurks a creature created to fight in the Old War. Make your way to its location and dispatch this monster. A juggernaut nearby. It will only
I might
attack
actually
when it
be
senses high
completely ill-equipped to
concentration
take on
of infested
Levantis.
blood. Slow the fight
The only...
if you want it
Am
to
I
go
using
home.
Luxfer? Am I using Luxfer? Oof. This might be a problem.
Be wary. The creature
Let's see how I go.
has grown unfathomably strong through
Luckily it's not level 100
centuries of
Levantis
its
because
own
level 100
matter
Levantis is
self-preservation.
bloody tanky. See how I go.
I am no longer detecting signs of a juggernaut.
bad.
Move on. You are safe.
Oof. Best not to bring a friggin' bow to fight Levantis or the Hemocist. And evidently even the Thingo is not so good. Actually, never mind. Normal Levantis, you can bring a bow. It's actually not bad. Not ideal, because I think even normal Levantis has a bit of a damage cap, doesn't he? Woof. There we go. Easy! I mean, it is just normal Levantis, so of course it's easy! But you know, easy! Hey! I'm running out of arrows. Nearly a dead head. Dead. Hey. 8 arrows left. Gotta make every arrow count. Crap! Wasted arrow. Another wasted arrow. 2 arrows. Crap! Wasted arrow. If I was Avara, this would have been easier. Dead. Maybe I should have just used my Sin on Gavacore the entire time. I should have just used my Sin on Gavacore. Whoops. Would have been heaps faster.
Taking down the VIP. Now get to extraction. Multiple biosignatures detected. We've got infested incoming.
God, how much I love this weapon. I just don't have enough opportunity to use secondaries these days. Like when you have a really powerful primary weapon, you barely ever use your secondary, eh? It's not like in Destiny where you have like a primary weapon and then you have a secondary, but it's really not a secondary, it's an elemental weapon. But even then, like, I actually have the opposite problem. In Destiny I always use Level Narc, I don't really care about my primary weapon anymore. The kinetic weapon? Completely meaningless to me. So I don't know. There's always one weapon that's just missing or is never used. It should. It doesn't get used.
Who have we got on the line?
Okay, picking up 8 rare mods, that's going to have to happen by itself. I'll do the bounties later. Yeah. Wait, was the survival actually 30 minutes? Damn, that's sleep inducing. That's sleep inducing. Let's do it. Okay. Anyone want to join me for a Void Survival 30-minute run? Part of the thing I think for Nightwave memes. Come, join me. If not, I'll just do it by myself. I don't mind. I've been using the Latron Wraith recently because of your Riven. What's your Riven? It's probably like a plus... Actually, what would a Latron Wraith, hey? Apparently the Latron has an augment that is... Oh, speaking of augments, I haven't had a look at the weekly shop. The weekly shop. Crate offerings. What are we giving? Recharge barrier, focused acceleration, brainstorm. I don't use any of these weapons, so I don't really care about those augments. That's okay. Guandao Sinoid skin, hey? If anyone here uses the Guandao, you should probably go and grab that. That looks kind of dope. I don't use the Guandao. I haven't touched it. Hell, do I even have one? I don't think so. Anyway. Fine, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. Mod. Energy, ooh, energy drain mode. Okay. In that case. Oh, never mind. I'm joining someone actually. So, there we go. Oh, hang on. Nightmare Survival is a timed survival, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. It's infinite. Okay.
for a capsule. Additional life support has arrived.
Hang on, I'm gonna try and read this.
Behold the general, come to scavenge and desecrate this sacred realm.
Ah, right.
Tenno use the keys, but they are mere trespassers. Only I, Thor, know the true power of the void.
Dead!
If the Tenno wants true salvation, they will lay down their arms and wait for the baptism of Diana's key. I was cut in half, destroyed, but through its Yana's key, the void called to me. It brought me here,
And here I was reborn! You, behold, they cut me down, but still I speak!
I am energy.
Oh, bollocks!
I cannot be destroyed. It is time.
I will teach these trespassers the redemptive power of my Yana's key. It will... Simple truth. Okay, so that...
The operative has just made their first
So me
discovery.
dropping dead,
Keep up the good work.
that's actually more on me and less to do with the build.
Go to
The build that I'm
extraction.
using is actually perfectly fine. I just forgot to pay attention to my health. For a split second. I do despise energy drain mode, that's for sure. So... Bloody hell. I feel sorry for anyone watching this in 480p. What? How come it didn't work again? Maybe I need faster passing speed.
Mission complete. Excellent work.
Ah, well, so much for that. Guess I'll have to do it the normal way, and I probably won't be using Valkyria. If you like Valkyria with an Umbral build, Umbral Warcry build is really good. You end up with around 4,000 armor. Yeah, 4,000 armor is really cool. I just feel like at some point that armor becomes sort of a bit overkill. Like, if you didn't go that high without sacrificing a whole lot, then yeah, go for it, I reckon. But typically those kinds of builds, especially, like, you're talking about an Umbral build, so that's going to require a lot of time, because right now one of the things I don't like about Warframe continues to exist, which is how leveling works. So, I'll go back to Mag.
Later.
I'll always go back to Mag. One of the things I don't like about Warframe, which is that the way that leveling works continues to exist, so if you try to do an Umbral build, you're going to have to really like that Warframe, otherwise it's going to be a lot of time that is spent just going into something like ESO and just doing stuff until you get to level 30 and then going back, and then going back, and then going back.
Your job is to
How many
distract
former
the
is that going to
enemy
require
after
for an
tunnel
Umbral build
operative raids the ship
on
for
Valkyria? Is that
much-needed
like
supplies. Make your presence known.
Is that like a 3 or 4 former build?
Life support has been
I don't even know how much former I have on
They're
my
trying to
Valkyria.
choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
Certain Warframes could actually level up really quickly. Saren is one. Any Warframe that has like its main source of damage as their one, they are the exception to the rule. So it's really just Saren, I think. Because Ember's damage is, or rather Ember's fireball is huge, but it's not like ludicrous amounts of damage. Saren's on the other hand, you bring a toxin weapon, that thing will spread those spores so quickly and everything will die so quickly. Like, it's pretty nuts. So you just slap on some power strength, and by some I mean like slap on a lot, because you gotta overcompensate for it. And you can basically level up that Saren in a matter of seconds, really. Drop it in ES. Oh no, drop it in Sanctuary Onslaught. You're pretty much good to go. Drop it on Hydron. You can level up. You can probably level her up really, really quickly. I am theory crafting though. I'm not speaking from much experience of leveling up a Saren. Hey Martin, how's it going? Radiation or electricity for Kuva Brahma? Okay, ask yourself this big question. What do you like more, viral or corrosive?
I delivered a life support capsule to the area.
That's the big question you should ask yourself.
Activating it will buy you more time.
If you're like me and you prefer viral, I'd probably go for radiation. But if you like, if you're one of those corrosive always fans, then you probably want to go for electric. Actually, let me think. Yeah, you'll probably want to go for electric. Specifically because that means that you get an extra slot to put something else instead of an electric mod. So if you want to go for corrosive Brahma, do that. If you want to go for viral Brahma, I think the answer is to go for cold. And then you have the same logic. Take Toxin over Electric. I don't know. Wait, is Toxin even... Wait, hold on. Is Toxin an option? I don't remember. I thought Toxin was not an option. There's Heat. I know that for sure. I thought there was only... wait. No, all four singulars are available. No, that's correct. It's, and then it's like Radiation is one of them, and then it's like one of the others. I don't remember.
Another life support capsule.
There's 6 available, right? Radiation, and then for whatever reason I'm thinking Blast, but no, Magnetic. It's Radiation, Magnetic, and I think that's it. Correct? Right? As much as Toxin is a better option over Electric, judging by the question that is being asked, it sounds like it sounds like the guy has our good friend Martin here has two Brahmas available to him. One that he, I guess, is looking to level up, and one that's kind of fresh. No, sorry, one that's leveled up and one that's fresh. Which means he's either choosing between radiation or he's choosing between electric. Toxin, based on his question, is no longer an option. Or rather, it's currently not an option. Based entirely off this question. So saying that Toxin is better is true, but completely unhelpful. Does that make sense, guys? So yeah, no point telling him that because I think he already knows.
Let it be known, if the Tenno wants true salvation, they will lay down
Yeah, I would probably if you want corrosive, I reckon you should probably stick to radiation. Go for... The great thing about radiation is that if you really feel like it, you can go for a decent status build, decent status chance based build, where you can actually like coach your opponents, allies, enemies, not allies. You can actually coach your enemies in three of the combined elementals, which is often a good idea. Although in this case, it will end up being corrosive blast radiation, which is a bit iffy. Mainly because of blast. Blast, I feel like, is not terribly useful. Like, I'll use it if it comes with blast already, but it's not something I would actually go out of my way to using. Because what is the blast proc? It's negative accuracy, right? Whoop-de-friggin' do, am I right? You use multiple Brahmins? TBH, I feel like I only need one. Yeah, corrosive radiation does catch all of the Grineer in a bind. That's for sure. So if you want something that is like hilariously anti-Grineer, go corrosive radiation, get yourself the prime bane of Grineer, really mess them up big time, eh? At that point, you'd have a weapon that just basically says, I hate the Grineer because I'm massively racist against them. I hate liches. Same here, buddy. Same here. I have a lich that's just sitting there waiting to get killed. I actually bought a lich off someone. It has a particular ephemera that I want to use on Titania. But seriously, I have not had the time nor the energy to actually sort them out. You know what I keep hearing when I talk about Valkyr on like the subreddit? For whatever reason, a lot of people think that you need a build like Grindhard Squad's build, because in survival you end up with plenty of moments where you're not going to be seeing an enemy for an entire minute. I don't understand the idea of having power duration on Valkyr to a point when you're using Eternal War that you end up with a max with like a minute of Warcry. Why do you need that? Can anyone explain that? You reckon he's the worst? Well, he's a TTS guy and his builds are a bit weird. Yeah. Oh. I haven't seen his Railjack content, so I won't say if he's the worst yet. But I don't understand why people keep saying that, like, if you want to build a Warcry build, you're gonna need like all of the power duration in the world. Why? Why? Warcry by itself is kind of an infinite ability, is it not? As long as like the enemy spawning doesn't like just instantly stop for no reason, you're pretty much good to go. It's infinite by itself, and yet a lot of these builds that I keep seeing that are like Warcry builds, quote unquote Warcry builds, it's massive duration. What's the idea? Oh, liches! Worst content in Warframe. Well, it is the one piece of content in Warframe that I actively avoid outside of Conclave. So yeah, you might be onto something. Base duration? Yeah, I feel like base duration makes the most sense. Like, what's the point of going... Like, maybe prime continuity if you have a space. Sure, why the hell not? Because the only thing that I could see being a good thing with super duper high duration, or rather, any duration on a Warcry build, the only good thing I could see with it is just that extra bonus. Whoa. Just that extra bonus from killing enemies using Warcry. Man, my nose is itchy again. The worst thing ever when you have a bloody itchy nose, eh? I feel like, okay, I think I'm officially calling it a bug. If I happen to be playing as a client per se, i.e. not the host, my Paris Prime sometimes gives me yellow crits. Yellow crits with the power of red crits, probably, but yellow crits nonetheless. And that's visually confusing to me. Bloody hell. Wait, didn't I hit that nullifier? I guess this is the one time where there's no enemies that spawn for the next minute. Because we've literally just run away from them. So of course they haven't spawned, per se. But as soon as you go backwards, there they all are. Which build do I use for the bow? What is the name of the bow that I'm using? The build that I use for this bow is the Platinum Arrow build. It's actually a rather simple build to understand. It's actually just a really powerful crit build with an extremely hilariously awesome ribbon attached for crit purposes on the Paris Bloody Pride. My favorite bow. Sure, there's a thing like Sure, there are bows like the Kuva Brahma that are just really, really powerful, but I don't care.
Life support activated.
I'll show you the ribbon in a sec. Well, I'll show you the ribbon in about... Give it a sec. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... I will show you the ribbon in 17 minutes. I will say this though. I remember when I did a stream of, 40 waves of defense? 45 waves of defense? That was a snooze fest by like wave 30. I feel like survival is probably a bit more fun. That's probably why people tend to do this a lot more.
I've delivered another life support capsule.
Hopefully, I don't know, minute 20 doesn't turn into a snooze fest. Because I am playing mag, so that does reduce the snooze fest potential by a bit. Do I miss the old void? How do you mean? When void was only accessible via void keys? I don't necessarily miss it. I think the current system is still ultimately better than the old system of void keys. I mean, what's there to miss? The only thing is that, like, I suppose it kind of made the void lose a little bit of its exclusivity, I guess.
Additional life support has arrived. We will all
In the sense that you
share
had to farm
Hold out
normal
as
missions
long
in
as
order
you
to
can.
get void keys in order to go to the void. But at the same time, not really something I'm worried about. So, you know, I think it's fine. Okay, so in the meantime, you may notice that in the stream agenda there is something written there that seems a little bit odd. Meat and potatoes. What that means is that we're gonna be what I want to do is what that refers to rather. Wow, what that refers to is some things that I am going to be reacting to. Things that are kinda easy to just discuss because they're nice and short and more or less just cool beans to have a chat about rather. Potatoes. But then there's one thing that I've been like putting off for a while. That's gonna be our meat. Does that make sense? Meat and potatoes. Y'all wanna guess what the meat is going to be? Hint, potentially 4,000 views, potentially sub 50% like-dislike ratio again when I turn it into a VOD.
Consider extraction.
Yeah.
Life support has been replenished.
Will I yell? We'll find out.
Life support activated.
We're past the halfway mark, so that's good. Oh yeah, when Deadlock Protocol eventually shows up, it looks like, according to the poll that I put out, somehow most people actually want the quest that is actually brought up in Deadlock Protocol to be done on stream, which I don't think is a good idea. I might actually, oh, you know what, no. I'm not gonna pull a DE. Here's the thing, I'm not going to pull a DE. The poll, for whatever reason, has resulted in more people say that I should do the quest on stream. Therefore, despite my better judgment, I will do the quest on stream. Naturally, I will also farm for Protea on stream, provided I don't like fall asleep before I get her, because I think Protea is probably going to be really, really strong. The big question is, how useful is her 4th ability going to actually be? Because as much as I like to say, ever get that feeling of deja vu, as much as I like to say that, which I don't, but, you know, as much as it is interesting to say that, the big question is, how useful is that kind of ability going to be in normal gameplay? Or rather, how useful is that ability? Oh crap, wrong way. How useful is that ability compared to how annoying it's going to be to find yourself in the same spot again?
Life support has been replenished.
What will also be interesting is how long it's going to take before some of the big time YouTubers immediately come out with a video saying, guys, Protea is trash, and I'll be like, what? 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 We'll see what happens.
Support has been replenished.
But I will say this though, when the new war drops, assuming there is a new war quest, pretty sure there's meant to be a new war quest. So when the new war quest drops, I am most certainly going to be doing that off stream. Okay? No ifs, ands or buts, I am most certainly doing that off stream. Nice and clean, no shenanigans, no chat, just me with my thoughts. As much as it might be interesting to do it on stream, and then if rather, a major decision needs to be made, I could then be like, chat, what do you reckon? Should I kill the Lotus? And then half of you be like, no, don't kill the Lotus! And then half of you are like, do it! As interesting as that might be, no, I will be making that decision by myself in my own thoughts, okay? So that's what we can expect. Maybe. We'll see. Hopefully D has the balls to actually give us that decision. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Probably like October, I'm guessing. Here's the thing about Protea. She literally gives health and energy orbs. And ammo. As an endurance runner, it would make sense that you are really excited for all of that. Because that's literally your bread and butter. The only things that run out when you are doing endurance runs that will completely screw you over is health, obviously, energy, obviously, and ammo. Even though melee weapons exist. Some people are just like, I don't really want to go into melee range, I want to kill everything from a range, because typically you're a little bit safer when you're firing from a range. So, when Protea literally gives you all of that, seems like a slam dunk to me. The big question is, how strong is her turret? Are we talking Zedkey APOC Mark III strong, or are we talking P-Shooter Cryophon strong? We'll see. Whoops.
The longer you fight, the more successful.
5 minutes to go, everyone. 5 minutes to go. Do I really main mag? You want to know how you can find out if I main mag? What you want to do is you want to actually, so you see how right under this video there is a little link to my channel. You want to click that, okay? And then don't forget to click subscribe. Wow, I already botched that sentence. You click that, so you click the link that has my name, that on my name, right? Click my link. Then have a look at the very top of the page, basically what is called the cover art. Tell me what Warframe you see there.
Extraction is ready.
That's how you know if I main mag.
Life activated.
It's like if you ask Sabuchi. Oh, bollocks!
Life support activated.
Whoops. It's like if you ask Sabuchi if he mains Mesa. Have a look at his profile picture. That probably answers your question, you know? For me, it's a little bit more subtle. Have a look at my cover art. But as Gavin said, yeah, I do. %. Wait, are you saying me or are you saying you? No, don't worry about it, mate. No, don't worry about it, Ali. Ali? Yeah, don't worry about it, Ali. Asking if mag is if I legit main mag is a legitimate question. It's fine. Me? Wait, how do you? Is this information just readily available? Or are you referring to an old video? I remember I did a video about like what I main. It was actually, ironically enough, just a sort of pseudo, not really, but response to something from Tactical Potato. He actually had a look at like what he uses the most. I think it was him who did that video. So I did that video, just having a look at like what I use the most. Obviously it would be Mag and Paris Prime and all that jazz. But if you know the in-game name, oh, you've oh, okay, I see what you've done. You've actually just gone like W category. You've probably like just typed up the category name, and then you've just had a look at the profile. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, 34 34% on oh, profile name. Okay, there we go. That'll do it. Yeah. Yeah. So 34% mag usage. But that's just wait. But that's 34% mag prime, isn't it? Did you add the mag to it as well? If you add the mag to it, it might be like 30. I reckon it might be like 36. Just guessing. If you add the mag, prime by herself probably. Yeah, mag prime by herself 34.1. That makes sense. Mag prime plus mag, therefore actual mag usage overall. I'd probably say the mag herself, because I started with mag. That's for sure. But I don't think I stuck around with mag because, damn it, I ran out of energy. Damn. Because the problem is that I then played Banshee for a while, which is why my Banshee usage is actually obnoxiously high. And it's not because Banshee was like good or bad or anything. There was just a large period of time where I actually used her a lot. And I don't even remember like how I used her back in the day, because now that I look at Banshee, I'm just like, how the hell did I make her work before? I didn't really make her work before.
Glass resonance in your neighborhood.
Oh, there's glass in my area? Don't care.
Where are they coming from? Void. Who did this to them?
Might as well kill him. Where are they? Where the hell are they? Oh, there they are.
Dream, there's gotta be a way to take these things down.
So that's 2. Oh my god, this heavy gunner! Damn it! Had to crack open a friggin' energy thing. Disgraceful. That's the big thing when it comes to mag. If you don't have energy, you're going to die. Gotta play a little bit smarter. Okay. I think that's everyone. Let's get the hell out of here.
Dreamers, I have for you a tale of triumph over adversity.
Yeah, when mag runs out of energy, that's when it becomes super duper difficult mode. Because I kind of need my abilities.
Extraction is your best option.
Thoughts on Immortal Monkey King? You're talking about Wukong? Is there a specific Immortal Monkey King build? Because he's kind of immortal by himself. Well, he's immortal so long as you have energy, and it's easier for Wukong to be immortal and have energy because he can be a rage tank. So he's good, I guess. Like, there's nothing really left to say. Umbral mods plus adaptation. Oof! Well, you know what it's like I said with Umbral Valkyria. That's gonna be a very long time where you're just sitting there ranking up. Alright. Meat and potatoes, let's do it. Meat and potatoes. So, I'm going to turn off transmissions, turn off orders. Yeah, you basically abused the hell out of Cloudwalker to heal massively, and that's basically it. Okay. So, meat and potatoes. We're gonna be reacting. Let's watch some stuff. Take a break from that 30-minute bloody thing. Let's watch some stuff. I have a few things lined up. Okay? I have a few things lined up. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, that works out. Here are the things that I'm keen to have a look at. Including that. Yeah, that. I haven't actually seen a whole lot of it. I actually just went to have a look at Brozyme's avionics grid just to prepare myself and give myself an idea about like how much I'm going to be yelling. Spoiler alert, maybe not as much as I thought. So, we'll see. Okay, let's just start from the top. We're going to be looking at a Distant Observer video. Quote, unironically running mag in 2020. As a mag main, I don't run mag unironically. Oops. Alright, here we go. Mag is in a complete... Okay, so TLDW, this is from May 25th. So this was actually from 4... Wow. I thought this was from ages ago. This is from 4 days ago. Mag is in a complete magnetize one trick now. No, she's not. Pool is pretty good CC. It can do some cool stuff with magnetize. Not really. I disagree with that, actually. I feel like magnetize is... I feel like Pool is... by itself kind of weird with like it doesn't... I don't really use Pool with magnetize, personally. Magnetize's interactions with projectile weapons is busted as ever, correct. Shield gaining means mag's third ability is now a 1-up on key press, correct. Higher power strength potential, which comes from reduced requirement for survivability mods, boosts her performance overall. What? Higher power strength potential, which comes from reduced requirement for survivability mods? Oh, I'm not entirely sure about that one. Okay, here we go. Okay, what do you say? What if I told you mag is a good frame? Well, I could have told you that ages ago. Well, you are correct. Yes, I know. Nice meme. I want to make a case for her otherwise. What is mag good for? Everything. For a frame to be considered good, it has to have at least one niche that it excels in. Ooh, that goes completely against how I rate warframes. I feel like for a warframe to be good these days, this is how I do it. I feel like a warframe that is good has to be a warframe that is capable of doing everything to at least a level. A warframe that is only good at doing one thing, Mesa, is probably, I wouldn't call good, because there's just so many warframes that exist that are capable of doing so many things, Oberon, Harrow, Wisp, yada 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 yada, that a warframe that is only good at doing one thing by itself, Mesa, is probably not good anymore, you know? Like, yeah, sure, she's great at killing everything, so if you want to just kill everything, awesome, but if you want a good warframe, like mag, you kind of want someone who can do everything. So, good defense against the argument of... Wait, that's a good defense against the argument of a better replacement. Okay? Inaros' niche is to be passively undying. Nidus is famously undying. Sure. You choose Nidus over Inaros for specific missions, or not. Actually, no, I would choose Hildren. He isn't being replaced by Nidus, he is being contested. Right, because both of them are being replaced by Hildren. For Nidus to be undying, he has to be active, you have to maintain. Okay, cool, awesome. I guess all the Nidus mains would probably agree with that. Whereas Naris just sits there. Whereas Hildren just sits there. Like, Hildren is actually, I would say Hildren is actually least active when you have Arcane Barrier and Arcane Aegis, so Hildren replaces both of them. Anyway, back to Mag. What if I told you Mag's niche is active survivability and DPS? And crowd control. Mag's first ability is pulls enemies towards her, correct? Ragdoll on cooldown. On cooldown? Hi? Okay, pull directly increases your survivability. Depends on what you mean by survivability, I feel like. If you really want to count all crowd control as survivability in the sense that you don't die if they're too busy figuring themselves out to hit you, okay, fine. But then all warframes have some form of crowd control, and therefore all warframes have some form of survivability. That would mean that Banshee has a lot of survivability. Doesn't really flow with me, I feel like. Pull only rescue mission. Yeah, he's gonna pull everyone. It's gonna be easy. Nobody's gonna be able to hit him. Makes sense, right? It's just basically what I'm talking about. Do you count crowd control as survivability? If so, then all warframes have a lot of survivability. So it really depends on how you define survivability. I wouldn't define survivability as that. Her second ability is Magnetize. Really powerful weapon, obviously. He's evidently not using Magnetize Discharge. To each their own, I guess. What's that with standard Lanka memes? Use a bow, use Exergus, and now that because we have shield gating, quote unquote, a third polarize is basically a one-up on key press, correct? Oh, he's running Vigor. It also strips armor. I wonder how much power strength he's running. Or they're running. I don't know if they are a guy or a girl actually. Finally, Crush, which is unequivocally garbage. Fourth ability when compared to others, but on low ability. You should try using Fracturing Crush. It actually makes Crush useful. This is why I use Fracturing Crush. Because you can strip armor. Even faster. Instead of using like 3 polarizers against a level 100 Bombard, you could actually just use 1 Fracturing Crush and 1 Polarize. Need and... oh, hold on! Need power strength, power range. Sure. Don't need power efficiency. I do not agree with that one bit. If you're playing ESO, you really need that power efficiency. The only time you don't need power efficiency is A, if you have someone who's actually supporting you with energy and or energy orbs, so like a Trinity or a Hildren, or B, if you're going to be using energy pizzas. Why do they think that Mag doesn't need power efficiency? Power duration, I do agree with if you're not using something like Magnetized Discharge. You actually don't want to have that much power duration if you're not using Magnetized Discharge, simply because the Magnetized Bubble is going to take bloody forever before it collapses and explodes. Power strength and power range are notoriously difficult thing, mainly because of overextended. Yeah, but how much power range do you need? We are saved by the fact that you don't need power efficiency. Oh, you do need power efficiency. Okay, that means we can stack Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, and Intensify. That's overkill in my opinion, but okay. Yeah, that's overkill. That's overkill. Okay, so he's not running no power efficiency, he's running 105% power efficiency. And Prime Flow. What the fuck? Why Prime Flow? Why Prime Flow? That's the big question. I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. Why Prime Flow? Why do I don't get it. Why do so many people run Prime Flow? Thinking that it is like this awesome thing that you can use that replaces apparently energy efficiency. Why use Prime Flow? Prime Flow is good. The reason why I say that is because unless you're spamming energy pizzas, generally speaking, Prime Flow, you can't really utilize Prime Flow on a Warframe that can't generate their own energy. I use Prime Flow on Rage Tanks, Garuda, definitely Garuda for obvious reasons, and other Warframes that can somehow spawn energy orbs. Like any Warframe that can actively control how much energy they're getting, whether it be from being a Rage Tank or whether it be from, like, you know, other stuff, I would use it. Whereas on Mag, if you run around a mission and there's no energy orbs, you're screwed. And now all of your abilities cost slightly less than normal amounts of energy. Right? Whereas if you ran Streamline, it doesn't matter if you have a smaller energy pool, who cares? It's not like the game constantly floods you with energy orbs unless you're playing like specific missions. I don't feel like Prime Flow is a good idea. This is why I never run Prime Flow on Mag. You have a look at the Mag build I have right now. Right? You have a look at the Mag build that I run, the 5000 IQ build. I'd much rather use Streamline over Prime Flow any day. Like, I only ever use Streamline, I don't use Prime Flow. Because Mag can't get her own energy orbs. Does that make sense? Or rather, Mag is unable to produce her own energy. So, like I said, all, whatchamacallit? All Rage Tanks, Garuda, Trinity, yeah, go for it. Because you can just actively get your own energy, just like that. With Rage Tanks, it's slightly less active, because you just stand there and you just let them hit you. Cool, awesome. But with Mag, I don't think that's a good idea. Plus, your abilities are going to cost a lot more energy. Yes, you do get to use your abilities more if you happen to have a full energy pool from Prime Flow. But aside from energy pizzas, how often are you going to find 744 energy as Mag? I don't think that happens all that much, TBH. I'd rather have a 263 energy pool, but know that all of my energy... Didn't I run out of energy? Yeah, see, here's the thing. I already ran out of energy in that survival mission. If I had Prime Flow, it would have made no difference. That actually... I feel like that goes to my point, right? Am I wrong? Have I been thinking about this wrong the entire time? I've never understood that. Anyway, let's move on. And yeah, like someone said, Arcane Grace, that's a bit of a weird one. I think Arcane... I mean, no. Arcane Grace is a bit of a... Wait, what the hell? Shield for... Wait, this build is different. Hold on. Okay, notice how it's 450 shield, but if we go back a sec... Wait, the build is different. 9... Wait, the builds are all different. Okay, I think he's about to... Or they... Oh... Sorry, never mind. It's several builds. Flow and Energize are great, more so on Mag. Again, I feel like Streamline is a better option than Flow. Yeah, than Prime Flow. Okay, this is quite a go-to build with no energy duration. Sorry, no power duration, rather. Oh! Okay, I have another problem with this build. How many of us feel like... Counterpulse is really, really strong? Raise your hands. He says, not being able to see anyone. Because power duration affects counterpulse. So having a longer counterpulse is, I think, a much better idea. What we're seeing with these builds, these are like at most like nuke builds. Definitely something definitely not something I'd recommend you do. No, I wouldn't really recommend this either. What we're seeing here, I feel like, are just magnetized builds. These are magnetized builds, tops. If you're running just magnetize, then yes, having extreme amounts of power strength, having extreme, well, not terribly extreme amounts of power range, having less than 100% power duration, these are all magnetized builds. This build offloads survivability to Polarize and Arcane Grace. Onto Polarize and Arcane Grace. I feel like Arcane Aegis would be a better one. You reckon this one looks like a Crush build? I don't think these are well, no, I don't think these are Crush builds. For one thing, even if you have 248% power strength, it doesn't matter. Crush doesn't do a whole lot of damage. The amount of damage that Crush does... okay, let's see. That's with 155, so it's... We can bring out the calculator. Okay, so 248% power strength. So that's 2.48 times... What is that? 1,500 damage? Is that 1,000? I can't remember. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4,500 damage? I think so. 4,500 damage. Right? Am I doing this correctly? I don't think so. Crap. I've played Mag for so long and I don't remember how friggin' Crush damage works. Oh, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Okay, let's have a look. According to the wiki. Hi? Okay, Crush deals 1,500 extra damage over 3. Wait, what? Oh, it's 1,500. Oh no, never mind. It's 1,500 over 3 segments, guys. So it's just that 1,500. It's just that 1,500. So calculator. Here we go. So it's actually just 1,500 times 2.48. So that's a whopping 3,720 damage, and you do get to do like double that, or rather, you do get to do that amount of damage as extra magnetic damage if a target happens to be in a magnetized bubble. 6,000 damage, 7,000 damage then. 7,000 damage. A level 100 corrupted heavy gunner. Let me have a look. Because I like to compare everything to level 100 corrupted heavy gunners. A level 100 corrupted heavy gunner has 72,877 health. We're not even talking about armor, just health. So it's like this guy said, Crush as a form of damage is not good. He is absolutely correct. Crush by itself is not good. Fracturing Crush, on the other hand, now that is good. Haven't played enough of her to know her fourth ability. Fourth ability I used least. This is interesting. Yeah. I don't... sorry, I may have said this already, but Aegis over Barrier. I feel like that's a better option. Because you're looking at a Warframe that has small amounts of health. Actually, no. Both of them are not particularly good on Mag. You have to use, like, friggin' Redirection or Umbral Redirection if that ever shows up. You have to use that on Redirection or Umbral Redirection if that ever shows up. This is not survivability, this is crowd control. And lots of damage. So I don't really agree with this being survivability. Is Mag's crowd control really powerful? Yes! You know what also helps with survivability in this case? Something called Counterpulse. So... Wait, why did he just polarize? Did he run out of things? Did he just randomly run out of bloody shields? That was weird. Actually, here's the big question. If he's running like a 2.4, if he's running a 248% power strength build times 400, he's stripping 992 shields per hit against a level 100 corrupted heavy gunner. Oh, shoot. Crap. Divided by, what was that? 992. He'd have to use polarize 7 times. Alternatively, you could actually just use 1 fracturing crush and 1 polarize. That'll do it as well.
It is time. I will teach these trespassers the redemptive power of my Yanis.
Alright, end of video. These are magnetized builds. 100%. These are all magnetized builds. Oh, here we go. About duration. Oh, there's a lot to read here. Basically, the lower the magnetized duration, the quicker you load the map. Correct? Not quite. The way it works, if the enemy you cast on the magnetized dies, it'll collapse on the expiration. Otherwise, it will just disappear. Correct. So you'll have 5 seconds of magnetized, and you'll use it every 5 seconds. Yada yada yada. I don't want any. Oh, I don't. Anyway. Yeah, I don't really. Look, if you want to use, have you ever been one-shotted by a Kuva Hyeka and a Kuva Flood? Provided I have all of my shields, no, because shield gating continues to exist. These are all magnetized builds, so no matter what, if you look at it from that point of view, if you want a magnetized build, these are probably like the most obvious magnetized builds in the world. But if you're looking for a mag build to unironically run mag with, I wouldn't look at these builds. They are builds that continue to leave Crush completely useless, as a distant observer quite accurately suggested. Yes, with these builds, yes, Crush is completely useless. Fracturing Crush is how Crush is actually useful. So, yeah. For whatever reason, he's not... Oh no, sorry, because they're all low duration builds, Counterpulse is not going to be useful in any of those builds, because Counterpulse needs duration. You can crowd control a bunch of enemies for about 4 seconds, and that's not going to... No, you can... No, with those builds, with like the 67% power duration build, that's probably going to result in like 2.5 seconds of Counterpulse. That's terrible. So yeah. Those are my thoughts as a mag main myself. If you agree or disagree, hit me up in the comments or in the chat. And just for the sake of this video, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Warframe content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye! Alright, let's continue. Let's continue. I don't know, should I end like a recording, quote unquote, with the way I normally end videos, or should I just leave it open, like how it happens in like how it happens with like Asmongold's friggin' stream things? Should I just leave it open? I probably just leave it open. Whatever, screw it. All right, the next one is Iflin, top 10 Warframes to get in 2020. Let's see what he chooses then.
Hey guys, what's up, Zyflin here, and today I'm going to be talking about what I think are going to be the top 10 Warframes to get going into 2020. Now, let me know what the top 10 Warframes you would recommend.
I forgot to start recording
down in the comments section below. This list is going to be in no particular order, and this is basically just going to be based off of like
that's cute.
my needs and wants while I'm playing the game. So I'll explain like every single choice that I made throughout this video. But number 1 or number 10, doesn't really matter because these are in no particular order, is Ivara. Now, the reason that I chose Ivara to be the first one that I talked about was simply because with the introduction of Railjack and, you know, the fact that it's a pain in the ass to farm up intrinsics right now, like, Ivara throughout the years has been a go-to warframe for simply just, like, farming a ton of XP using the Broken Adaro stealth farm and a melee weapon. And I feel like she's always going to be that way, on top of the fact that she has a multitude of other uses. So if you guys don't know what I mean, basically, to get a lot of XP in the likes of a Railjack mission to farm up your intrinsics or something, what you would be doing...
That doesn't work anymore. Also, that's degenerate. It's degenerate gameplay. Should never... One should never... one should never encourage that, frankly.
Is you would be turning on your free, and then you would be bringing out your Artemis bow, swapping to the sleep arrow, and then using your alt fire to use your sleep bar, right? And then you'd be walking up behind the enemy and then stealth killing him with what we now use is the Fragger Prime with a very specific build. So the build that I've been using on
the reason why you want to... Oh,
particular...
by the way, the reason why you want to use the Fraggle Prime, I'm not sure if he's going to mention this, he probably will, but the reason why I want to use the Fraggle Prime is simply because it does way more stealth damage, I think, from the back.
To do that stealth farm looks a little bit like this. It's got Arcane Trickery on there, so then, you know, if I happen to run out of energy or something accidentally, the Arcane Trickery has a 20% chance to basically save me and put me back into invisibility. But
double Arcane Trickery, man, those were the days.
Duration and have a little bit of range on there to put the enemies to sleep, and then just allow me to walk up to them and stealth kill them to get the stealth bonus. So it's by staying completely invisible, walking up behind them, and then hitting them in the back of the head with a massive hammer, doing that enough to get the 500 XP stealth bonus, paired that with Naramon's Affinity Spike to farm up a ton of intrinsics, and if not intrinsics, then XP for something else, based off of the Adaro farm that everybody used to do to get, like, the likes of Focus or something. So, you know, this type of farm or this use for Ivara...
Although, again, remember, it doesn't really work now in Railjack, because you do need to complete the Railjack mission itself.
People always fall back to it. So, of course, there is this on top of everything else, like, you know, her Artemis bow build and stuff like that. I've actually went out of my way and made 2 Ivaras. Like, this is my Artemis bow build with Umbral mods on. That's got the Empowered Quiver augment, and then you can swap out that augment for the other augment, which I forget the name of, Concentrated Arrow, and they both work, right? They're both really good builds. But, you know, Ivara, all around, just a really good frame for stealth farming.
Oh, this is an Artemis bow build. Okay. With Empowered Quiver, using a build like this, the problem with Empowered Quiver is that half of it is basically useless, because Empowered Quiver works on the... oh no, because it's an Artemis bow build, I guess he doesn't care. But just so everyone knows, half of Empowered Quiver is really, really bad when you have 23% power duration.
Killing enemies, being invisible, getting.
But if you only care about the
stuff, she's a really good frame.
Dash wire,
like
the dash wire buff from Empowered Quiver, then yeah, okay, go for this build. This makes sense.
Put that out there that she is really good. Moving on to my next pick. This one should surprise literally nobody but Octavia, and the reason that I bring Octavia into the mix is because of
Octavia is really damn strong.
To do everything.
There's nothing else that really needs to be said. Her entire kit is hilariously
missions, deal a lot of damage.
Overblown.
Like, a lot of these picks that are in this list are frames that are very versatile and they can do a lot of things, right? So with Octavia's got a ton of buffs. She's got a ton.
Wait, did you just say something that literally? Did you just say something that literally summarizes my grading system?
Are frames that are very a lot of damage. Like, a lot of these picks that are in this list are frames that are very versatile and they can do a lot of things, right? So
that's right.
Octavia's got a ton
that is
of
a
buffs,
good thing.
A ton of CC,
infinite scaling, yeah, man.
Right, so it's like, check this out. I can kill a group of 110 heavy gunners.
Whoa, that's a nice UI. Which one's that one?
Probably want to go ahead and unpause them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on our abilities. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait, why throw them into a wall?
If I jump over these enemies again, they're gonna walk within my radius. And they're gonna shoot this little ball, and they're just gonna deal damage back to themselves. Like, it's crazy, you know? Like, all I have to do is stand here, and this damage is gonna keep on scaling up. And then eventually they're just gonna kill themselves. And all I'm doing is standing here invisible. I can go ahead and recast my abilities.
Yeah, what's hilarious is that you don't actually... what's hilarious is that, like,
So it
even
allows you to
though
do other things
crafted
within
heavy
the
gunners have a
mission
lot of armor, it
while
doesn't
not having
matter.
to deal with the enemies, you know?
They're just
So I
gonna
can
kill.
hack
They're just gonna kill
console, or
themselves
I can
anyway.
deal with my
Like the
privilege or
game,
something like that.
Octavia literally
You know,
plays the game by
she's
herself.
just a really good
Like, you don't have to do
frame for
anything.
getting the things done that you have to do within Warframe, like capturing a capture target, or you know, freeing a rescue target, or something
That's the
like
Corpus
that.
one?
So
Cheers.
it's like as the meta of Warframe changes, the Warframes that I gravitate to, they change as well. So Octavia is definitely a really good pick. And speaking of really good picks, my next on the list, one of my personal
I've heard
favorite
that-
frames is Gara. Now,
I've
the
heard that
reason I
Gara
like
is really,
so
really
much
strong.
is because
I've never
she
used her, so
is
I don't know for sure.
One of my favorite frames
But
for
a lot of people
defense
reckon she's
and
really, really
fact that
powerful.
she can stay
So
alive, and she's got insane
cool.
scaling damage as well. So for one,
yeah, apparently that insane
use it
scaling
in
damage.
conjunction with her 2 and her 4 to build up a bunch of scaling damage for the 2, and then you've got the AoE damage from the 4 as well. I just noticed that there's like
Was that part of the video?
2, and then you've got the AoE damage from the
Yo, Iflin, I
4
think
as
your
well.
video
I
is
just
corrupted.
noticed that there's like a little buzzy effect on my Elgato there. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we simulate these guys. Basically what happens is you can use your 2 to give yourself damage reduction. You can put the 2 on the enemies as well to damage them over time. You can go ahead, use your 4 to make this little glass cylinder. Use your 1 outside of your 4, and then you get more damage added to your 2. Whenever you walk over to them, it's going to deal more
You reckon the
damage
game
over
loop
time,
not?
or
You
more
reckon the
damage
game loop
per
using her
tick,
abilities
and
is
you
not
can build
fun?
this up
That's
pretty
unfortunate.
much infinitely, right? So you can just keep on going, and if you pair that with Zeneric, you're gonna get to insane
So essentially,
numbers,
as long as
and
you
then
have
all you're gonna
energy,
have to
you
do
can
is
scale
kill
up your
enemies.
damage
You
massively.
just
Is that the
walk
idea?
right up to them. You know, you've got augments that allow you, your 2 to heal yourself, and you can put your 2 on teammates, you can put it on objectives, all that good stuff, which just makes her really, really, really good for, you know, multitasking like a defense mission or a survival mission or something like that, you know, keeping your team alive, keeping the objective alive while also killing the enemies. So it's like a multi-purpose frame, which is designed specifically for getting those defense missions and survival missions done while keeping, you know, your entire squad alive or the mission intact.
Whoops.
Scene for that. My next choice is Vault, and the reason that I choose
Vault?
Vault is simply because, you know, as you can see, I've got 3 different vaults. This is my Umbral Vault, which I'm still working on. I need to get more Umbral Forma, so I need to invest a lot more into Nightwave and stuff like that. But Vault has always been a frame that I gravitated towards whenever it comes to like any type of content, just to get it done fast. And I choose Vault over Gauss because I don't like how I have to mod Gauss. I feel that with Vault I have a lot more freedom, and there's a lot more ways to build Vault compared to the likes of Gauss, right? So,
Okay, I guess
Vault
I
is
will
just
I'll trust them on this one because I don't really play Vault a whole lot.
So
I know that Vault is
mainly
good for
use speed
Eidolons,
build
and that's about
because,
it.
You know, that's what I use to get relic runs done. If there's an exterminate mission or something, I'm using Vault with the likes of.
Is Vault good for
a
exterminate
super
though?
fast melee. Like one of my personal favorites lately has been the Dakar Prime. You know, I'm
Hi.
using the Dakar Prime, running around with that with my Vault speed on, sorry. Gonna make myself invincible. And I'm
Obviously,
just
the big
going
thing
through
about Vault
missions
is that he's
just,
not
you know,
terribly survivable.
whacking the enemies, building up my combo, dying really fast. Like that's what I'm doing with Vault as of recent. And then because
Wait, hold on. Was this? Hang on. January 21st, 2020. I can't remember. That's before Melee 2.997, right? Or rather 2.999. That's before part 2 of the Melee rework, correct? I think so. I think the Melee rework again came I want to say February-ish? March-ish? Am I wrong?
his speed is so
I do know that swords are really, really powerful these days. Like, just regular swords. The latest one, friggin', oh god, what's it called? Plasma Prime? Crap. Can't remember. What's the sword? The sword that came recently from Titania. Oh, Pangolin! That's a regular sword, isn't it? Yeah, it's a regular sword. Uses regular sword things, like Vengeful Revenant. Yeah, man, swords are strong. Yeah? Pretty sure. Anyway, where's Fang Prime? Is that using the heavy build that I love? Oh, came before. Okay, cool, awesome.
Insane. It makes those relic runs like really quick, you know. So especially if it's capture mission, exterminative mission, rescue mission, spy mission, you know, those are done in no time. So I've just become so accustomed
Jesus
to
Christ, that's just a pure speed build, man.
You know, it's second nature.
200% power strength, 200% power duration. That's a speed build. That's just
number 6 is
just all about
Saren.
speed.
So
Saren, yeah, obviously clears rooms, duh.
The way that I can, you know, put my 1 on an enemy and then press 3, press 4, and then everything is basically dead. So I'll demonstrate what I mean by that.
I'm actually going to skip Saren because I already know, like, I think we all know about this. Press 1, press 3, press 4, everything's dead, done. Clear entire rooms, easy mode.
Saren in your squad. So yeah, Saren's really insane. I recommend picking her up. Speaking of defense missions as well, we got our boy Limbo. Now Limbo, gotta admit, I prefer Frost over Limbo, but because
no, I prefer Limbo over Frost, 100%.
Endurance runs or anything like that, Limbo's better because Limbo's lazier, right?
Just cause.
So I like using Limbo to just jump into a mission, press my 4, press my 2.
Ooh, probably want to use that natural talent though.
And do whatever, or I can literally AFK and eat my dinner. You know, like that's, this is who Limbo is. This is your AFK frame. You want to play Warframe, you want to get your grind on, you want to do your homework at the same time because you need to do your homework or else your bitchy ICT teacher is going to get at you or something. You got Limbo, you can do your homework, and you can play Warframe.
This one's pretty easy as well. Yeah, Limbo's really good.
Getting whatever the hell it is.
Volt speed builders, melee Volt, just use healer return, become immortal.
I would say that he's underrated, but he's not. So, you know, he's really good just for getting those defense missions done and protecting, like, any objective.
Whoa, hold on, let's just stop right there. 10 former Korra? What the hell is he be doing? What are you doing, mate? Why do you need to put 10 former on your Korra? Did you mess up massively? Did Korra receive a bunch of changes that basically made your entire build completely useless and then you had to put 3 former just to change things? 10 former? Wow. Damn. Either you did that 10 former as if in the same kind of meme as Rahatelius did, what was it, 1,000 former on his Volban? Either you put 10 former like that kind of meme, or damn, something changed
can also
big.
Be used in other missions as well. So number 4, this is like literally everybody's favorite frame.
I'm skipping Mesa because duh.
Your,
press 4, kill everything, don't care. Let's move on.
Get that right. So number 3, Equinox.
Oh yeah,
Equinox is another one of those frames that
Equinox can basically do everything.
Uses, so you can put enemies to sleep.
I'd probably end up calling Equinox a 10 out of 10 for Warframe.
Stuff like that. You've got
just saying it right now. She has way too many abilities to not be a 10 out of 10 Warframe.
She is a very good, versatile, multi-purpose frame, just like literally every other Warframe on this list. I don't know why I'm stuttering so hard, but you know. Equinox,
except for Mesa, I wouldn't call him. Oh, actually, no. Let's have a look at what he has to say about Mesa, because I don't think Mesa is multi-purpose, and I don't think he would. I'm thinking Iflin wouldn't call Mesa multi-purpose either.
4. This is like literally everybody's favorite frame, Mesa.
Not everyone's favorite frame.
Your gunner of Warframe. She's insane. She's crazy. I'll show you why. Let's just check.
Because regulators. That's it.
Yep, looks good. Alright, check this site. We spawn in our heavy gunners. We have our 2.
If you're going to be using Mesa, you should turn off invisibility, number 1. Simply put, you have incredible crowd... Well, not incredible. You have semi-decent crowd control via your 2. You have really good survivability against ranged enemies via your 3. You don't need invincibility. Full show.
You know, Mesa's crazy. It's just a really good damage dealing frame. There's no reason to not pick her up.
But she's only good at dealing damage, that's it.
But that's basically all there is to say about Mesa. She's just
no
like,
form of support whatsoever,
you press 4, hold down left click.
Unless you count her 2 sort of going from ally to ally as support.
Big and strong it is. If Mesa's there, it's not going to be big and strong anymore. It's going to be big and dead, right? So, number 3, Equinox. Equinox is another one of those frames that has a lot of different uses. So you can put enemies to sleep, you can do your stealth kill on them and stuff like that. You've got your healing abilities, you've got your damage dealing capabilities. She is a very good, versatile, multi-purpose frame, just like literally every other Warframe on this list. I don't know why I'm stuttering so hard, but you know, Equinox, crazy good, especially if you're playing in your day form. I think
Oh, I would recommend using Duality. Duality is really, really good.
Day form, and you put on your 3, you put in your 4.
I mean, that's just me. I use Duality all the time, actually. I think Duality is hilariously good.
You deal your damage with your favorite melee or whatever, and then you press 4 to get all that damage like thrown back out at all those enemies. So I would say
not the best demonstration, TBH.
Store up all the
when
damage,
you look back at like when he dropped the damage from MAME, didn't really do a whole lot, did it? Still had to end up using his melee weapon to kill everything else anyway, because they had a lot of armor.
Clear rooms. So that's what I use Equinox
you did
for,
that,
and of course,
you did the level 9999 meme alert with Sleep Equinox. Nice.
Right? It's just up to you to sort of like experiment and find out all the other things that you can do. So
I can't remember how I did it.
Number 2.
I may have just done it with Sleep Equinox as well. Because at some point I tried it with Mag and I'm just like, oh god, it's too much.
Broken team setup within.
I'm gonna skip Trinity because Trinity is basically give energy, give health, give energy, give health, give energy, give health. It's easy. What's the next one?
She stands the test of time. So
oh, it's still Trinity.
Vampire.
Whoops. Okay, here we go. Valkyria.
In their own right, because you know that's just the way of Warframe. Like different frames are gonna be good at different things. So there's no real reason for this to have like a specific order or anything. Like Ivara isn't worse than Valkyrie, is what I'm saying. But number 1, I've got Valkyrie on here, and the reason I've got Valkyrie on here is because I've been enjoying just running around with melee a shit ton.
Yeah, Valkyrie's like, pretty good. If you want to use Valkyrie, I'd definitely recommend her.
I know people are going to cry if I don't have a tank.
Enraged Valkyrie is really cool as well. Guaranteed red crits. Guaranteed, guaranteed crits. Possibly guaranteed red crits if you run an Umbral build on the claws.
Is a reason to have her on this list. So you know, let's just go ahead, spawn in all the bad guys.
Or rather, if you run Sack Steel on the claws, shuck it, duck it, man.
Buff. And attack speed buff, and all the enemies are just dead. You know, Valkyrie is crazy, paired with the right melee, with the right builds. I'm gonna have builds for all these Warframes coming out over the next couple of weeks.
No Nova disgusting.
So you'll be able to see everything. This build in particular,
no Mag disgusting.
Right now because I love this build. It's all about Eternal War, keeping your Eternal War up by getting kills with Valkyrie. It's also got.
Oh my god! You guys notice something? 100% power duration. Yeah, I feel like that is a good idea. 100% power duration. Probably doesn't need corrosive projection because enemy armor has been reduced. Don't really need corrosive projection in my opinion. That's okay. He's probably not put an Umbral. He's probably not put an aura former on this Valkyrie, so he's stuck to using dash polarity auras. So he probably doesn't want to use energy cipher. He probably just wants to stick to using something like, I don't know. I'd probably say enemy sense would be a good idea, but I don't know. I guess corrosive projection is fine if you really want to. It has been nerfed though, keep in mind. So 4 corrosive projections don't delete everyone's armor anymore. But he is using 285% power strength. What the fuck? Is that the kind of build that you end up with like 4,500 armor? Because that's gnarly. That's really, really high. Anyway, that's enough of that video. Anyone ready for some GHS? Alright, GHS. Let's see how you build Mag. Quote-unquote endgame build from 2019, so it is old. We'll see.
I do not main Mag, but I enjoy playing her by a lot. She may be confusing to play
Ooh,
at first.
Exurgis, that's
but
a good
once
choice.
you know everything there is to know about this frame, you will definitely agree that she is one of the best, and if not, the best in dealing with endgame enemies. The best way to fully
Correct.
understand Mag is by knowing every nitty-gritty detail of her abilities.
Correct.
So, let's begin with her first ability, Pull. This ability is pretty straightforward on what it does. It offers good crowd control and moderate damage. And its energy cost is fairly cheap that you can use.
Moderate. I don't think it does a lot of damage. 465 damage against endgame enemies is not a lot.
This ability whenever you need it. In addition, enemies that are killed by this ability will have a chance to drop energy orbs. However, the damage is not that great against higher level enemies. It can be your killer ability at low levels, but it will only serve as your backup CC ability at higher level content.
Keep in mind that the drop chance basically means nothing at higher level and higher level content because you almost will never be able to kill enemies with pull.
One neat trick in using Pull is by casting it while you are in midair. This way, enemies will be ragdolled for several seconds, and will often take another couple of seconds to get up, giving you enough time to react. The best part is,
Sure,
this
you could
ability
do
has
that.
no cooldown and you can yank enemies at will any time you want. Just remember, the yank effect is affected by ability strength, and if you want some dumb ragdoll fun, then you must have at least 180 and above power strength on your mag build. Her second ability
Wait, what?
effect is affect down and you can yank enemies at will any time you want. Just remember, the yank effect is affected by ability strength, and if you want some dumb ragdoll fun, then you must.
Wait, what? Is it? Really? Hold on. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to test this real quick. The yanking ability of pull is affected by power strength. Interesting. This is the thing about Mag. There's so many intricacies about her that even now I'm still, I guess, sometimes learning things about her. Alright, let's have a look. Okay, so I'll just take this one. Okay, so I have here 279% power strength. Just cuz. We'll go up against good old fashioned 20 level 140 corrupted heavy gunners, who cares? Well, that one definitely shows that there's some extra yanking power. Okay, interesting. Huh. Okay. Learn something new every day. Yeah, he's actually, I think they're right about this one. If I use my normal build with 155% power strength, let's find out. Hold up. That's not what I expected. Okay, I'm starting to doubt. One way to find out. One way to find out. Oh, bloody hell. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be running no strength. Okay? Okay, never mind. He's actually correct. Yeah. Yep, he's actually correct. But I wouldn't go so far as to say you need 180% power strength in order to get like some dumb ragdoll fun, quote unquote. Just depends on how much ragdoll you want. But it is this does mean that I should definitely look at using pool a lot more. If you look back at like that survival, that 30-minute survival, I don't think I used pool a whole lot. I should probably remember to use pool a lot more, that is for sure. Okay, let's continue.
Have at least 180 and above power strength on your mag build. Her second ability is called Magnetize, and this is Mag's most popular ability. However,
obviously,
there are some misconceptions about this ability that leads to the wrong usage. First off, Magnetize is not the same as a bullet attractor. While it's close to being one, it probably has more usage than that, and it's extremely powerful to be compared to a mere bullet attractor. The thing about Magnetize is that it...
Well... Mag's old ability that had a similar-ish but not as fleshed out effect was Bullet Attractor. So if people say that Magnetize is a Bullet Attractor, well, it did actually replace Bullet Attractor as an ability.
It will draw nearby enemies that are outside the bubble towards the magnetized target, and then the bubble is attached to the target enemy and moves with them. Also, Magnetize increases damage against the target by a multiplier which...
Wait, what was this about? Whoops. What the hell was this about moving with them?
Tractor. The thing about Magnetize is that it will draw nearby enemies that are outside the bubble towards the magnetized target.
Yes.
And then the bubble is attached to the target enemy and moves with them. Also...
Wait, what? The magnetized bubble does not move with the target enemy because the target enemy cannot move within a magnetized bubble. So I don't know what he's talking. I don't know what they're talking about with this.
Against the target by a multiplier, which is affected by ability strength. In addition, all projectiles that pass through the magnetized bubble will be stopped and redirected to the center of the bubble.
That's nice.
If they impact an enemy,
Someone who
they
actually
will
knows
deal
about
damage
magnetized
to the
discharge.
enemy,
That's good.
including any
Good.
location hit modifiers. While any active shards coming from your polarized
I'm
ability
almost
within
certain
range
it
of the
doesn't
bubble
move
will
with
be
them.
drawn to its center and will be added to its total damage.
Hello, Sandra. How's it going?
Shards will not be consumed and
If you're new to the game, welcome to Warframe. I'm glad that you're watching me above other people. So, if you have any questions when you get into the game, feel free to hit me up. We are all here to help.
Can be used by multiple magnetized bubbles so long as their duration
Wait, what was that?
range of the bubble will be drawn to its center and will be added to its total damage. These shards will not be consumed and can be used by multiple magnetized bubbles so long as their duration has not expired. The raw damage
yeah,
of
the shard thing, yeah,
projectiles
that's
that
cool.
impact the magnetized bubble will be added to the damage total for the magnetized bubble. 25% of this damage will be dealt with all enemies within the bubble every half second as magnetic damage, and then, every time this damage ticks, the base damage of the tick is added to the damage dealt by Magnetize when it detonates.
Yep.
And if the target dies with Magnetize active, the bubble will detonate when its duration expires, dealing damage plus any bonus damage from ticks as blast damage within a specified range. But
Yep.
that's not all there is to know about Magnetize.
But wait,
you
there's
should
more.
also know that critical hits and multi-shot from hits can weapons aren't taken into account when adding damage to the bubble. The shots will still be redirected, but Magnetize will only add the raw damage of one bullet to the absorbed damage. Projectile weapons with multi-shot don't have this restriction, however. Examples are the Cyan Lex and Maradidron.
And bows, because they're all projectile weapons. Yeah, just gotta find out this weird problem of some stuff not downloading. Sounds like your installer is a bit broken. What are you playing from? Are you playing from PC or console? If you're playing from PC, are you using the installer from the Warframe website, or are you using the Steam installer?
Additionally, only the projectile's damage is added. This means that weapons like the Toradora Gris that deal most of their damage from an area of effect, rather than direct impact, won't have that damage added to Magnetize. Only projectiles that impact the bubble and polarize shards add tick damage. On top of all of those, projectiles with punch through will continue to orbit the center of the bubble and continue to hit enemies until they either disappear, fail to penetrate something, or Magnetize ends.
That's why Exergus is really what has just been said about this, about Magnetize, is exactly why things like Exergus are really good with Magnetize.
Doesn't benefit Magnetize's tick damage, but it can still be useful to take into account. Her next two abilities may not be as popular as her Magnetize ability, but mind you, these two are one of the best when it comes to
Wait, hold on.
enemy armor.
He's using Fractured Crush! I'm very curious to see what this build is now, because for whatever reason they're using Fracturing Crush, they're using Magnetized Discharge, but they're not using friggin' Counterpulse. Of all the things to not use, I would have thought that Counterpulse would be the one to use. Does that make sense? Of all the things to not use, I kind of expected GHS to not use Magnetized Discharge. This is in 2019. Counterpulse has existed for a very long time now, so I'm actually kind of surprised. I'm interested to see what this build is.
Armors in the game. Mag's fourth ability may be considered as a good way to just crowd control and give survivability, but when you equip the Fracturing Crush Augment, it becomes one of the most reliable abilities when it comes to stripping armors. The max armor that Fracturing Crush can strip is 80%, and when you pair it with Polarize,
it's good to hear someone else actually say it for a change.
Armors no matter how high their levels are. Polarize does not only steal shields from enemies, but it also strips armors from enemies with armors. In fact, the three biggest uses of Polarize are completely murdering groups of corpus, healing allies, and objective.
Low enough level Grenier also get murdered by Polarize as well, by the way, so.
And following up an augmented crush to strip remaining armor from enemies at high levels, or just completely stripping them by itself at low levels, adding damage to magnetize, while very nice, is often a secondary or tertiary effect of any of the other uses. With my current mag setup, I can totally strip enemy armors with 2 casts of Fracturing Crush, and then following it up with Polarize. But honestly, you really don't need to totally strip enemy armors. Just lowering their armors is enough, as remember, you have your Magnetize ability to apply the finishing touches. By the way, Polarize has this augment called Counterpulse, which allows you to jams enemy weapons and disables robotic enemies for a set duration. It's really a good form of crowd control, and it's best used in solo plays. Now, this is the usual build.
Okay, cool. At least they've actually made a reference to the fact that Counterpulse exists. I'm just curious why they're not using it. Prime Flow again. That's it. Oh no. Actually, no. This is fine. This is fine. This is actually fine. This is actually fine.
Build I use for mag during endgame plays like long endurance runs.
Okay, so here's the thing. What GHS is doing is he's using Prime Flow and Streamline at the same time. I have no problem with that. That makes sense. And I guess because GHS is only using 128% power duration, maybe that is the reason why he or she or they have decided not to use Counterpulse. Because 128% duration Counterpulse, that's about 5 seconds. That's actually 5 seconds of Counterpulse. So it makes sense why they have decided not to use that. Fair enough. I mean, that being said, my build is 6 seconds, so it's not that big of a difference. So maybe they should use it.
It's a balanced build of power, strength, duration, and range, and it can fully maximize.
I'm actually surprised that this is the kind of build that we're seeing from GHS. Normally, I would have thought that normally GHS builds are like
but I prefer to have a longer duration
over to one
since I am
side.
also using Polarize more often. Polarize spread is somehow affected by duration. That is why I need some to affect a lot of enemies. I still can detonate my Magnetize at will though, as I have the Magnetize Discharge Augment. But that's not the only use of this augment, as it can also crowd control enemies that are within the range of the Magnetize bubble. I also have Fracturing Crush to strip enemy armors, and then redirection so I can have a bit of survivability. Works well with my fourth ability and does give me a lot of shields.
Oh, one thing to note when it comes to GHS using Fracturing Crush. This is something that you want to keep an eye on if you're actually going to be using Fracturing Crush. Also, I'm assuming by now GHS would have a full Arcane Energize, and I mean like a rank 5 Arcane Energize, and probably a rank 5 Arcane Aegis as well, thanks to Scarspear. Anyway, one thing to note when it comes to Fracturing Crush is that the first Fracturing Crush will take out how much? I can't remember. It's interesting that they have the same amount of power strength as I do. Okay, the first Fracturing Crush is going to take out 77% of a target's armor. The second Fracturing Crush is going to take out 77% of what remains. Okay, this is some really important math, because what this means is that 2 Fracturing Crushes. So what happens is it's essentially 1 minus 0.77. Oh no, crap. No. 1 minus... The math works out where you... oh no, I'll just do it one at a time. So, after the first Fracturing Crush, you have 23% of your armor left, okay? So basically what happens to the next one is that you lose another 77% of that 23% armor. So just times 0.23. You only have 5% of that armor left. A corrupted heavy gunner, a single corrupted heavy gunner at level 100 has 6,441 armor. I mean, the first Fracturing Crush is basically going to be enough because level 100s actually don't need more than 2 Fracturing Crushes. So let's say we go for the absolute highest possible. Whoops. Let's say we go for the absolute highest possible right now, which is a level 175 corrupted heavy gunner if you have enough MR. The amount of armor that has is 9,791. So if we use 2 Fracturing Crushes, right? 9791. There's only 500 armor left. Guess what? One Polarize will take out all of their armor. That's so mathematically speaking, as long as all of the numbers are correct, 2 Fracturing Crushes plus 1 Polarize will take out all of the armor of a level 175 corrupted heavy gunner. If you say for example sit in a survival mission long enough to come across level 300 corrupted heavy gunners that have 14,627 and a half armor, let's ignore the half for a sec. You multiply that by 0529. That's 773 armor. 2 Polarizers. 2 Fracturing Crushes, 2 Polarizers. You're going up against level 300s. You can take out all of their armor with 2 Fracturing Crushes and 2 Polarizers. That is how powerful Fracturing Crush is. And because enemy armor the scaling of enemy armor, the S-bend has been changed, it means that enemies have less armor, which just further means the Fracturing Crush is just really, really good at taking out all of... Well, rather, a Fracturing Crush and a Polarized, at least, is really, really good at taking out all of the armor of a lot more enemies. This is why Fracturing Crush is so important, I think. If you happen to be going up against nothing but Corpus and Infested that are never going to get armor, fine. But with a build like GHS's or a build like mine, where it's like this really balanced overall can do everything kind of build, I don't care if I'm going up against Corpus, because I just don't have to use Crush much. That's the thing.
Primed flow and streamline are
so yeah, it's really good to see something like this.
Build, so I really need a lot of
Hopefully we see more people using something like this, and not just like thinking, oh, Magnetize, gotta use it, sack everything else, you know?
As well as increase the damage of my other abilities, especially Magnetize. And last but not the least, Vigilante Pursuit for enemy radar. It's basically a personal preference, but I wish you try it as it will definitely be useful in terms of enemy pathing, especially
if he, why do I keep calling him he? I think it's, I don't know what gender they are. If GHS puts an Aura Former, like I have, for obvious reasons, if GHS puts an Aura Former, then probably don't need Growing Power, TBH. At 155% power strength, you don't really need the Growing Power anymore, because you're only using 5%, or rather, you're only using 5 of that 25% to boost he? Is that confirmed? Okay. If GHS, anyway, with Growing Power, you're only using 5 of that 25% power strength to further increase the power of Fracturing Crush. Anything else, it's only going to increase the power of Magnetize, so if you want to do that, fine. I personally feel like Magnetize is already super duper strong as is. Even on my build, it's a, bloody hell, it's a 3.1 times multiplier. That's pretty damn strong. So, I don't feel like you need to increase that power strength a whole lot. In fact, 25% of 2. 25% of 2 is 50. Okay, so you go from 3.1 to 3.6. 3.1% to 3.6%. Is that going to make a whole lot of difference? Like, it will make some difference, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. So, I would probably use any other augment. Any other aura. This is kind of why I use something like Swift Momentum, or, I don't know, not Complex Discipline, because that's shite. enemy radar instead of vigilante pursuit, because then you can actually use
When you
something
are doing
like
so long in
sorry, because then you can use something like oh bloody hell, the one I use, prime sure-footed. Anyway, that's just what I reckon.
endurance runs. So that's how I play mag at endgame levels. I hope after seeing this video, you have gained a lot of knowledge about this awesome frame. I really suggest
I did learn about the pull
you
thing
try
with
out my build,
strength.
as it's really fun,
That's kinda
especially
dope.
against endgame levels like
If anything,
long
it just
survival
reminds me I should
runs.
probably
But
use pull
before
a
you
lot more, I just don't use
forget
it
to
much.
give this video a like and subscribe.
Alright, yeah, no, this video deserves a like. This is a good video. This is actually a good mag build. I've seen some horrendous mag builds in my life. Wow, what the hell? I've seen some horrendous mag builds in the past. This one's actually pretty good. There we go. This is a good mag build. That's it. I mean, it's not 5000 IQ mag, but it's a good mag build. Alrighty, here we go, guys. You ready? We're done with the potatoes. It's time for the meat. Let me just top off my my cup of water. One sec. Here we go. Half an hour. Am I going to hate myself in the end? Let's find out. Oh dear. Here we go. I haven't watched a Brozime video since the last one.
All right. Hello and
Actually, you know what? No, he made the video. We're gonna watch his.
So today,
We're gonna watch
for
his
this video,
thing.
We have a sponsor, and that sponsor is the Ridge. So the Ridge is a
Whether or not
wallet
it continues to be a
that makes their
thing,
wallets out of
we'll just
full
find out.
metal and elastic construction. And as someone who's been using these wallets for about 2.5 years, they are absolutely fantastic, and I would not go back to any other wallet I've ever used. And I've used pretty much everything: leather trifolds, bifolds, old janky wallets we all had as kids.
I actually just use a
used it
phone
all,
wallet,
and
so
this is by far the best thing I've ever used. And the reason for that is because it just carries what you need and not what you don't. You don't need to carry around a million receipts. You don't need to carry expired gift cards. You don't need to carry a bunch of change. This has everything you need. It has two nice metal plates in the center surrounding all of your cards, and that has a cash strap to carry all your cash and receipts, or a money clip if you prefer that. And that's really all there is to it. You have easy access to all your cards that you're regularly using, because you can simply push on the Ridge, if you will. You have a very easy access to all your cards.
I wonder
by
if Ridge
handing them out
wallets
and
are
just
available in
grab what you
Australia.
need. These are super great wallets that I would really advise to anyone, and they come in a variety of styles. Not only the carbon fiber one, which I've been using for the longest time, but also this new forged carbon one, which looks quite nice, as well as this
I guess so.
titanium one, which is probably my new favorite and one I'll be switching to. And of course, because we play Warframe here, I had to grab the nice aluminum rose gold one, which is actually the cheapest of all these wallets that I'm showing here, and is a fantastic deal in my opinion. And speaking of a fantastic deal, you can go to ridge.com/brozyme and use the promo code brozyme for 10% off any of these wallets and help support the channel. Thanks so much to the Ridge for sponsoring this video, and let's just jump in. Okay, and with thanks again to our sponsor, we can get into the Railjack Revisited Part 1 changes. So, we're going to be going over all of the changes to Railjack in this big update. Obviously, many of these are going to be the same as the
Okay, I
things
have a-
that I discussed
okay,
in
I have
the
a major-
video, because a lot of those
the hell? Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I was about to say, okay, I have a major problem with this, but no, I don't.
changes
I'm just
did
joking.
just make it over, as many of them were good. But there are some notable changes in here I'd like to go over, and I'd like to take this as an opportunity to kind of go over the whole Railjack system as a whole again, because I feel like it is actually worth doing so now. So, first,
Obviously, I always thought that Railjack was really good at... Well, yes. Obviously, I always thought that Railjack was worth getting into in the first place. Brozyme didn't believe so in the first place. I would have expected these changes to make him feel like Railjack is now in a good enough spot that it is quote unquote worth it. So this doesn't really surprise me. It would have actually been more shocking if he said, "Guys, even with these changes, Railjack is still not in a good place." Because I think Shy said that, which is wrong in every way, shape, and form. Like, Railjack is easy.
First and foremost, let's jump into configuring the Railjack and talk about some of the major changes that have been made to these systems, starting with the components. So, we have shields, engines, and reactors. Under shields, I want to talk about the valence transfer stuff that has been...
Okay. First off, one thing I actually noticed when I went back and watched the other video, for some reason, Brozyme actually had a Mark II shield. Which... I was very confused by that. It's good to see that he's now using a Mark III shield. So, yeah, good on you, Brozyme. You use a Mark III shield. Zeki Shield Array Mark III is a good choice.
Added. So, I have a piece of wreckage here, and I have the equipped shield array that I currently use here. And you can see this has 412 shield capacity, 3.97 regeneration.
Wow, he hasn't actually rolled that at all. That is not even remotely close to being, like, maxed out. Shield capacity maxes out at 500. That shield regen per second, that's the big one. That shield regen per second maxes out at 6%. He's barely halfway there. You're gonna have to really roll that. You're gonna have to really valence transfer that a lot, mate, because that, yeah, you're lacking. You're lacking.
Generation delay, and then 3.7 shield regeneration per second. And those are the stats of it, plus it has its bonus stat. And then over on this, you can see these are different numbers. Because
he's
that,
actually about to demonstrate
these
valence
are
transfer.
Somewhat
Good.
randomized, and you now have the kind of lich system to valence transfer these things together to get a perfect version of these items. So, if I click on this Zeki Shield Array, and then go down here to Valence Fusion, I can click on this, and be able to click on my wreckage. You don't have to repair the items first anymore, which is a very, very notable change from the PTS. But whenever you try and click this to fuse it, it has you go in here and choose what stat you want. So in this case, I would just want this option 1. And then it gives you a breakdown of what you're going to receive at the end. So you're upgrading this one, and this is what you're putting into it, and this is going to be the result. In this case, my item is actually going to hit its shield capacity and regeneration delay caps, but not hit the 6% shield regeneration per second cap. So I can get to multiple of the caps, and the cost for me to do that is actually going to be 40% of what it would cost to actually build this new shield array Mark III. That is honestly not bad. Based on what I've seen so far, because I've done this across actually a couple of weapons, and also my reactor is actually perfect now. It does.
It's interesting that he's calling this honestly not bad. It's interesting because when weapons had to be built and then you had to like build other weapons afterwards, technically the amount of the cost to build a weapon was only 50%, because when you scrapped a weapon back in ye old days when Railjack first came out, you'd actually get 50% of those resources back. For whatever reason, a lot of people didn't seem to notice that you got 50% of those resources back. That was something that was also like mentioned in the patch notes, in the dev streams and all that stuff. So I guess if you're someone who didn't pay attention to the dev stream or the patch notes, fine. But this was something that always happened when you scrapped a weapon. You'd always get 50% back. It has since been changed to 80%. Right? Yeah, it's since been changed to 80%. Ironically enough, valence transfer is more expensive to increase the stats of your thing than it is to actually build a new thing if you happen to get a new version of a new and like just overall stronger version of your component. If you scrap that component, you get 80% of your resources back, which means you only use 20% of those resources. On the off chance, this is a very, very off chance, so this is probably a moot point, but on the off chance that you get something that is better, you should probably be scrapping it, or scrapping the old one. You probably won't get something that's ultimately better though, because of the way the drops work. So, this is still fine. But it's just interesting that he's now calling 40% fine
items in general
when
to get to a
50%
version
wasn't.
of an item. terms of my reactors, it only took 2. In terms of the Zetki shield array, I think it's going to be the highest one I need in terms of needing probably 3 of these total, because I have valence fused this once. Unless I, just wait and get a slightly better drop of this in terms of shield regeneration, then it'd probably only take me 2. But this system is quite fair from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I
Basically,
wouldn't bother with
you're
that.
going to be spending 100% of the original resources to repair an item, which is, as you can see here, this is what it is for this particular item. And then on top of that, you'll usually spend another 40% or 80% to get the perfect version of that item, which I think is pretty fair. And personally, whenever I suggested feedback, I only suggested it to be 50% of the repair cost, so that it would end up being 200%. Whereas now it's at
50% of the repair cost. You mean like when you build something and scrap it? When you repair something and you scrap it, you get 50% back? 50% of the repair cost?
actually 180%, which is even easier to achieve than I've done on many items. So that is very, very good. Moving on. The Vidar reactor, I just wanted to show...
I love how he skipped over the engines. I can't wait to see what he has to say about the engines.
I did actually get a perfect Vidar reactor, which is excellent, and is going to be actually very relevant whenever we talk about avionics here in a second. But before we get to that, let's talk about armaments.
Whoa! Whoa! You gotta talk about your engines, dude! Oh my god! You gotta talk about your engines, mate! Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold up, you can't just skip your engines like that! You kidding? Come on, man! What are you doing? Let's just quickly go back. Bloody hell. Okay. Frozheim, you're using a Zetki Engines Mark III. Now, I don't know how powerful your Zetki Engines Mark III is, but it's not that good. Let's have a quick look at what the maximum... oh, screw it. Let's go to the dry dock. Holy crap. Hang on, I'm just going to skip through the video and see if he actually talks about the engine. That's weapon, that's weapon, that's weapon. Yeah, he completely ignores the engine. Right? Oh, wait. Oh, he's going to talk about the engine in a second. He's going to talk about the... I guess he's going to talk about the... Wait, is he?
Is in prior, but I do legitimately think that rail...
Let's have a listen, real quick. I'm just skipping ahead.
In total for all 40 ranks that we can get so far, and there's...
Wait, how do you still not have full rank 10s? When you made the old video, you... no, I'll get to this in a second.
15k for the command intrinsic whenever these intrinsic use now. But I do legitimately think...
He doesn't talk about the engines. Oh my god. Buddy! If you're going to talk about your railjack, you're going to talk about the engines, mate! Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let's just quickly go to the dry dock. Now, the reason why I've just brought this up is because I feel like he may be using the exact same engines as he did last time for the exact same reason that he did last time, which was quote-unquote, the engines gave me extra damage. Once again, I do not think that is a particularly good way to judge an engine. The engines give you extra speed. Or can give you extra speed. Depending on the engine that you are using, a Zetki engine, you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. Let's have a quick look. Do I have any Zetki engines on me? I don't even have any. I've actually scrapped all of mine. Bollocks! Okay, well that was completely pointless. Okay, let's have a look. Railjack components. Alright, here we go. Bloody hell. Okay. Engine tier list. Zetki engines. Additional speed, maximum 40. Additional boost, maximum 30. He might have slightly more boost than I do. But he definitely doesn't have more speed than I do. I would even wager that his engines right now, I want to see what those engines are. I would wager that his engines are actually slower than mine. Or rather, I wager that his engine boost is probably slower than mine. It's 1.4 and I know for a fact he's not using ion burn. He might have the same amount of engine boost as I do. What is my engine boost? My engine boost is 1.9, but that's because I'm using ion burn. 1.4. He has the same engine boost as I do, and I'm pretty sure he's not using Ion Burn. From judging by what I saw when I had a brief look earlier, just to prepare myself for the amount of screaming that I might end up doing in this video, which is actually less than I expected. But buddy, you've got to actually talk about your engines, mate. Because I've been told that Brozyme apparently complained that his ship was too slow. Well, of course it would be too slow if you're using a Z-Key engine. It makes sense. Z-Key engines are not particularly fast. So, you know.
Reactor, which is excellent and is going to be actually very relevant whenever we talk about avionics here in a second. But before we get to that, let's
One second, I'm just going to turn down my audio.
So, armaments. I kind of want to go over what I have felt to be very good here. So far, impressions on just how weapons are in general. By and large, Z-Key weapons are the go-to. All the Z-Key...
No, I don't think that's true. Z-Key weapons are not necessarily the go-to. I've tried using the Z-Key Carcinox. Personally, I don't like it.
Weapons that I have messed with so far, which includes the APOC, the Carcinox, and the Pulsars, have been totally serviceable, with the Carcinox being the standout best and the ones that I've been using as my main guns.
Wow, that's actually surprising. I kind of expected him to say the Z-Key APOC would be the best one, but judging by how he normally plays. Interesting. The reason why I don't particularly like the Z-Key Carcinox is just because it overheats really, really quickly. Like, the heat accretion is not as high as it used to be, which is great. It used to be 20, now it's 12, so that's fine. But even then, I still prefer to use a Levan Carcinox simply because I want more of those status procs. Right now, though, if you want to use a Z-Key Carcinox, you should be okay. Because right now, enemy armor and enemy health scaling is not that high at this particular moment in time. But eventually, when Scarlet Spear shows up again, Levan Carcinox is going to be a better option.
On my Railjack in general, but all those have been totally great, and the Cryophon has been the one that just really fell behind. Whenever...
Sorry, I would actually say that the Cryophon was always bad. Remember, keep in mind, the Cryophon is the only weapon that can't strip armor, and it is the slowest of the weapons, meaning that it's the only weapon that can't adequately deal with those healing bubbles in the Veil. Therefore, in my opinion, the Cryophon has always been terrible.
For the Z-Key heat accretion buffs happened, the Cryophon got lowered by a very minuscule amount compared to the 40 to 50% all the other Z-Key weapons got buffed, which means the other Z-Key weapons, I think, in general, are going to perform the best for all of your slots, basically. So I would really, really advise anyone who's looking to pick a main weapon for their Railjack to choose either the Z-Key APOC Mark IIIs or the Z-Key Carcinox Mark IIIs, which are both machine guns. They just have some different properties, with the Carcinox being way more rapid fire and having very, very slightly shorter range, and the APOCs having a considerably higher range but a lower rate of fire, but also...
Carcinox has a range? What the fuck? Am I going... Wait, am I going nuts? I feel like I've shot enemies from really, really far away using the Carcinox. Particularly enemy cruise ships. I feel like I've shot enemy cruise ships from really, really far away, stripped their armor, and then blow them up with a forward artillery cannon before. I wonder how much range Brozyme reckons the Carcinox has. Point is, I would add the Levan Carcinox in there as a pilot weapon. Again, because of that armor stripping. Right now, it's not as important because obviously enemies don't have that much armor. Fair enough. If you want a good, decent main weapon, I actually would recommend the Z-Key APOC over a Carcinox in general, just because the APOC does more damage, and again, armor isn't really all that important at this particular moment in time. But when we start to see higher level enemy fighters who are from Scarspear, who have level 100 armor, or rather the amount of armor that a fighter would normally have at level 100, yeah, you'll want to be using a Levan Carcinox instead. The amount of armor stripping is just really good from there. You don't get as much from the Z-Key Carcinox. I've tried, wasn't really impressed.
So higher crit chance. And also worth noting, my Z-Key APOCs here are a perfect fusion. This only took 2 weapons, the first one I built, and then 1 fusion into it. So I have that plus 60% fire rate. It is highly worth noting that all weapons, so Zetki APOC Mark III, this type of weapon will always have fire rate on it. So you can't move over something like this where it has just like plasma damage. You can't take that effect and put it onto this weapon. This weapon will always have fire rate. So
Wait, is that true? Huh. Hold on, what? Oh, god damn it, I should just go back here. Wait, Z-key Apox? Well, first off, you can't valence transfer an APOC with a Carcinox. Z-key Apox? Really? APOC Mark III. Okay, I guess so then. I guess the Z-key APOC always has things. Oh no, armaments, here we go. Just have a quick look at the wiki. APOC. I don't think it says anything. He's probably right then. He's probably right about that.
just keep that in mind whenever you are like looking at weapons, because usually, because the much higher base damage is on the Zetki weapons, these plus damage bonuses don't usually actually matter very much. Anyway, let's talk about the other weapons on here. Side guns, I'm using the Apox. The Carcinox and Apox are like, they're totally fine for side cannons as well as main cannons, which is part of why it's totally fine to try both on the front and see what you like, because whatever else you don't like is probably just going to go on your side guns for your gunners. And then in terms of your lower armament, the Psycho Seeker Mark III has still been like what I've liked most down here, although in fairness, I don't use this a huge amount. Avionics. So, avionics received some further buffing.
Okay, here we go. This is the real meat of the video, so here we go. Okay, so hang on. So what did he use as his side guns? Wait, did he put? Okay, he's using Zeki Carcinox as his as his main gun. So I actually find it kind of slightly hilarious that he's using Section Density and Predator. If you're using Zeki APOC as your main gun, then I feel like for you, if you're playing solo, it makes a lot more sense to use Section Density and Predator. Obviously, if you want to use Section Density and Predator and let your side gunners have a lot of fun with that extra critical chance, critical damage, go ahead. Makes sense to me. He's also using Polar Coil. That's a good choice. Actually, Polar Coil... Okay, maybe I'm wrong here, because I actually didn't use Zetki Carcinox with a Polar Coil. I actually just used Zetki Carcinox by itself. So, Zetki Carcinox with a Polar Coil is actually probably, quote-unquote, very, very serviceable. Can I even, like, swap something out for... I can't really swap it out, eh? It's 9. Oh, bollocks, it's 9! Yeah, I'd have to get rid of, like, forward artillery or hyperstrike or something, rather, for it. Nah, I wouldn't. I personally... Okay, well then that's probably the difference between me and Brozyme then. I wouldn't get rid of any of these for Polar Coil, so... Yeah, I guess if he's using Polar Coil and Zetki Carcinox, okay, fair enough. Awesome, cool.
Update, so it is actually much easier to tell where it is at any given time, so you can line it up and kill a ton of enemies with it, usually enemies that are trapped in Void Hole. Particle Ram. Particle Ram right now does have
also... He has Void Hole now.
Flickering bug, but that doesn't affect functionality at all. It's just like very hard to look at for people that are not piloting the railjack, so hopefully that gets patched up soon, and I really expect it will be. But outside of that, the Particle Ram did receive a buff. It does do more damage now, and that makes it extremely deadly in both Saturn and Earth, but not quite good enough to just ram through enemies in the Veil. However, this is still extremely useful for gathering resources and is the de facto thing you really...
Whoa, hold on. Particle Ram is actually really powerful in Veil because of the enemy health and armor reduction. Particle Ram, even in Root's Bloody Warfield, you can actually knock out tons of fighters, especially if you're using Void Hole. You group a bunch of enemies in Void Hole. We've done this on stream. You group a bunch of enemies in Void Hole, and you can actually You can actually throw out the particle ram if you want, or you can actually just move with the particle ram. You'll still do a lot of damage. I would argue that particle ram is still really, really good. You don't one-shot everything with it if you're not throwing it out. Fine. But particle ram still does a lot of damage in the Veil. So this is a weird statement in my opinion.
Use if you're going to be farming titanium on Earth, which is kind of the main strategy for getting titanium. Also, speaking of titanium, just while we're on the subject, they tripled the gains of titanium, so that previous bottleneck that we've had has been much reduced. I've not run into a titanium shortage since I started playing again, and that has been extremely, extremely nice.
How much titanium do I even have? Let's have a quick look. Ah, crap. I have a whopping 69, nice, 1,000 titanium, 70,000 titanium. I'm gonna be real here. I don't think I really ran into a titanium bottleneck after I finished the Veil. After I finished the Veil, I don't think I really came across a titanium bottleneck, and that is again because, as I keep saying, if you scrap a weapon, we can scrap a weapon. We get the titanium back. If you are hoarding weapons, then yes, you will come across a titanium bottleneck. But if you are recycling weapons, like you probably should be, then you won't really be coming across a titanium bottleneck. You weren't going to really come across a titanium bottleneck in the first place. Now you're not going to either because, like Brozime said, quite correctly, you get a lot more titanium these days, so that's really, really good.
Void Hole. Void Hole did retain its nerf, but it is still quite strong and is...
Andrew is 150,000% correct. Asteroid is the only thing that actually is... That's probably concerning. How much asteroid do I have, though? I have tons of asteroid, though. So I'm not particularly fussed about that. Let's see. Zeki, Carsonox. That requires... no. What needs asteroid again? I can't bloody remember. Okay, I have 3k asteroid. A new shield requires about half of that. So yeah, asteroid is the thing that I think would be more concerning. Titanium? Not exactly.
What I'm generally leaning towards in terms of the third ability. However, they did go ahead and buff Seeker Volley. Seeker Volley is quite good as a tool on Saturn and on Earth. It absolutely decimates on Saturn and Earth, so if you're going to be farming there, I would suggest you equip Seeker Volley over Void Hole, actually. But it usually is going to go with the...
Warhead.
Sort by Drain. With the Warhead.
Actually, that is not true anymore. I did a test, and a lot of people have been reporting this. That is actually not true anymore. So, yeah, Brozime, the whole thing I kept yelling at you about when it comes to Seeker Volley and Warhead, yeah, that's not true anymore.
Avionic, because this ordnance damage increase does affect...
It doesn't. It doesn't anymore, unfortunately. So keep that in
mind if you're going to be using it on Saturn, that is going to make...
I'm sad about this, but it actually doesn't affect it anymore.
The two avionics equipped simultaneously, and is what I would suggest for farming on Saturn. Moving on, though. Just kind of the general integrated avionics that I'm using.
Welcome, Sandra. I have to correct him on this one. Seeker Volley is really good in Guyane Point. So any mission in the Veil up to Guyane Point, Seeker Volley is really damn strong. So let's have a look at what missions we're talking about here. I've done this on stream. I don't know, I can't remember when Brozime put out this video if Seeker Volley got fixed, quote unquote. Because I think what Brozime has forgotten is that Seeker Volley has a crit chance now. Okay, Guyane Point is level 35 to 37, so Flexor, NSU grid, yes. Okay, R9 Cloud, H2 Cloud. Oh no, Rhea, I kept getting this wrong. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. These four missions. NSU Grid, which is the first one you go to, Flexor, which may very well be the second one you go to, Guyane Point, Rhea, and Ganelon's Grave. All the fighters in these missions are really susceptible to the Seeker Volley, because the Seeker Volley does a lot of damage to them. Hell, even if you use Seeker Volley against enemies in Roost Warfield, they're not going to die as quickly because they're level 42 to 45, which is fine. But they are still going to die pretty quickly. 2 volleys takes out 16 fighters. That's pretty good. Or 2 volleys take out 32... Oh no, that takes out 16 fighters. That is pretty good. But that being said, if you are going to come across 16 fighters in something like Roost Warfield, yeah, you kind of want to be using Void Hole instead. That is true. Void Hole still remains as a really, really powerful battle avionic for large groups of enemies, especially large groups of slightly more powerful enemies, because then you can use something like Particle Ram, Shatter Burst, Munitions Vortex if you really, really want to. But 1, 2, 3, 4, they get wiped out by Seeker Volley. Easy. Easy. Hell, you can even use Tether and wipe them out. It's kind of a reason why Tether is actually the sort of go-to speedrun meta at this particular point in time. But if you don't actually have Tether, because it is slightly rare, then yeah, you probably want to be using something a little bit more common, mainly because it drops from a lot more enemies and thingamajigs, like Seeker Volley. Definitely a good choice. Also interesting, he doesn't have Fiery Phoenix. That's sad. I mean, it's not something that you need, quote unquote. It's not something that I ever use, but he doesn't have Fiery Phoenix. That's a bit sad.
Bulkhead, you want to have a ton of health. Hull Weave, a ton of armor to go.
Surprising no one. He is using Bulkhead and Hull Weave.
A ton of health. Great. Hyper Strike, more turret
Surprising
damage.
no one. He's using
You
Hyper
absolutely
Strike.
must have this mod. Thankfully, it's considerably easy. Hyper Strike, more turret damage. You absolutely must have this mod. Thankfully, it's considerably...
You do not absolutely must have this mod. Specifically because right now in Railjack Revisited, because a lot of Railjack enemies are like so much easier to kill, abilities can wipe out entire teams really, really quickly. It's fascinating that right now, after Railjack Revisited, we have Brosheim who says you do need high turret damage. Yet, here we are in a moment in time where a lot of people are also saying, well, no, turrets are kind of useless, therefore something like turret velocity is kind of useless when you have all of these abilities. So, I would argue that you don't necessarily need turret damage. I will still run turret damage because I can. In fact, that might actually be the thing that I No, I won't. I will still run turret damage because I can, but I guess if I start to use the Z-Key Casternox, which I might try out later on, I might actually replace Hyper Strike with Polar Coil, because I don't actually really need that turret damage. Because my abilities are just going to wipe everything out. Especially if you have Tether, that's going to wipe everything out. Especially if you had Seeker Volley, that's going to wipe everything out. Void Hole Munitions Vortex, as Brosheim is using right now, that's going to wipe everything out. So, you don't really need that much turret damage.
Easier to acquire now, as far as I know, with how the drop tables have changed. And then Section Density and Predator are your crit mods that are just going to go in so you do more damage. And
specifically with the Z-Key APOC that he is using. The Z-Key Casternox has jack all when it comes to crit damage and crit chat. Well, no, it has... I think it has a normal amount of crit chat damage. Let's have a quick look. Z-Key Casternox. Okay. Z-Key Casternox has a general crit multiplier. 13% crit chance. Would you really want to use Section Density Predator when you have 13% crit chance? Probably not. This is good for his Z-Key APOC Mark III, and that's about it.
Polar Coil, which is going to make it so that your turrets build up even less heat than usual, and this is going to make it so you can have continuous fire for extended periods of time, and that's fantastic.
Real quick, Wise. Predator, Section Density, they're not battle avionics. You're talking about integrated avionics. Have the avionics drop increased since the Revisited update? I don't know. And as someone who actually has Section Density Predator now, I'm going to be real here, I don't really care, because I already have it. But look at it this way, I haven't actually noticed it pop up. I can't even remember, like, who drops it. Who and what drops it. Oh, frame doc. Okay, let me just have a quick look at who's supposed to drop it. To see if I've even been fighting against the right... Oh! No, I have noticed them drop from Saturn, I think. Section Density. Gyre Flak. Cosma Outrider. Oh, well, no wonder I don't see them, because they're only spawned from Earth and bloody Saturn. I have noticed it in Saturn. So that's not helpful at all, is it? Predator, Cosma, Elite Cosma Tactus, Gaia Tactus. Okay. I don't know if the drop rate has increased per se, but I have noticed at least one of them from Saturn, if that helps. Maybe try playing in Saturn, because I know for a fact that I haven't seen them at all when I was playing in the Veil, which I normally do. So because I normally play in the Veil, I have no chance of getting them, because they don't drop in the Veil. Okay.
These 6 avionics, I would say, are basically absolutely required
No.
at all times, and I don't think there's any room to remove any of these 6. These are must includes.
If you're not using a Zetki APOC Mark III, number 1, get rid of yours. If you're not using a Zetki APOC Mark III, if you're not using a Zetki Cryophon Mark III, there's a couple of others actually. Anyone, I guess any of the APOCs will do, but ask yourself, would you really use crit? Would you really use Section Density Predator on 20% crit chance? Because Section Density crit... Here's the thing. Section Density and Thingamajig, they don't actually give a lot. Section Density is increased turret critical damage by 78.4%. Vital Sense is 120% on primary weapons. Predator increased all turret critical chance by 80%. Point Strike is 150% on primary weapons. So ask yourself this: would you really use like theoretically worse crit mods, if you really want to call it that? Would you really want to use worse crit mods on weapons that have 20% crit chance? I wouldn't even use Point Strike Vital Sense on 20% crit chance primary weapons. I wouldn't even do that, TBH. Unless there's a... Yeah, no, sorry, it brings it from 20% to 50%. Depends on the weapon, I guess. But I wouldn't really do it on like a bow, so I definitely wouldn't do it on a Cryophon, so let's have a quick look at the Cryophons. Okay. On the Carcinoxes, it's even worse. 13, 13, 19, 13. I would not use Section Density or Predator on either of these. Cryophon. 20, 20, 20, 28, 20. You could make an argument to use Section Density Predator on Vidar Cryophon. Sure. You know? But it's only going to get it up to 50% on a freaking Cryophon. Who cares? Photors. 12, 12, 17, 18. No, I wouldn't use those mods either. Pulsar. 17, 17, 24, 17. You can make it on a... yeah, you can make an argument for the Vidar Pulsar. Sure. But... That's it! That's it! Vidar, Zetki, Apox. None of the... I wouldn't use it on any of the Carcinoxes. Cryophon, Vidar Cryophon. I definitely wouldn't use it on Photors. And Vidar Pulsar. Maybe. Maybe. Because they are still worse than, like, Point Strike Vital Sense. So... I do not agree with this statement one bit.
Jack. With that, though, I am using Conic Nozzle, which just increases my speed.
Holy crap, he's using a speed avionic. But he's only using a Zetki engine. Why? Why do that? Here's the big question. Here's the big question. See, this is why I need to know what his engine is at the moment, because I feel like let's have a quick look here. We can actually figure out what speed he has. Well, no, or rather, I know for a fact what boost multiplier he has. He has a 0.15 boost multiplier. So yeah, he has a 0.15 boost multiplier. So that's high, isn't it? Crap. Here we go. Components. Here we go. Engine. Oh no, he has half. He has middle of the road. I'd probably say he has middle of the road speed as well. Based on that, he's not getting a whole lot out of this. He's not really getting a whole lot out of this. I have no idea how to install mods and stuff. If since you're brand new to the game, you probably don't have that many mods to begin with. You need to complete the first quest in order to basically unlock every module inside your ship. So you is Arsenal part of it? I can't remember. No, you get the Arsenal at the start, don't you? I don't remember. If you want to install mods, you basically go to the Arsenal, which is like right in the middle of the ship. There's a thing there, you can actually press X usually, or whatever button you need to press, and that will then open up the Arsenal to then install mods where it says upgrade. Okay, so anyway, like I said, it's good that he's using a Z key. Sorry, it's good that he's using a conic nozzle, but is he getting a lot out of it? I don't think so.
A bit. This might get dropped once I get a better engine, or it might just become more important.
Oh, good. He actually recognizes that his engine's shit. When he gets an engine.
Important once I get a better engine.
I'm curious to see what engine he chooses. If he chooses Vidar or Levan, that is going to be the big question in my opinion, because I have made the comparison between Vidar and Levan. Right now, Vidar engines appear to be a lot better for long-range travel, which is probably something you're going to be doing a whole lot more if you're not playing just purely guy and point. Whereas Levan engines is probably going to be better for short-range travel, i.e. when you're boosting because of that high boost, so that's a little bit easier to calculate. Either way, it's interesting. I'll be interested to see which one he chooses, or which one he has chosen in the 3 weeks since this video has come out.
I haven't seen that yet because my engine at current is a little poor. And then I'm using Hyperflux for...
Wait, what?
Haven't seen that yet because my engine at current is a little poor.
What?
Once I get a better engine. Haven't seen that yet because my engine at current is a little poor. And then...
What did he say? My engine at current... What? Anyway, I have no idea what he just said.
I'm using Hyperflux for just more flux energy. This just allows me to, at the beginning of a mission, have a very high flux energy payload, so I can use my abilities pretty freely throughout the mission, and then just recharge it at the end of the mission.
Yep, this is
Not
good.
vital.
Wait, 796? What the hell? Wait, what? 796? Flux capacity. Height? Oh, I've never connected the dots. This is a bug. See how this says 796, but this says 792? My flux capacity is actually 792, but for whatever reason, the flux energy here, it caps at 796. Fascinating. I've never noticed this before. Huh. Interesting. Used to use the crib mods, but recently had a quick rethink and figured it. Yeah, waste of time. Depends on the weapon you're using, but otherwise, probably a waste of time. Moving on.
Or it might just become more important once I get a better engine. Haven't seen that yet because my engine at the beginning of a mission, and then just recharge it at the end of the mission. Not vital, but is very nice and convenient, especially if you're going to be spamming Seeker Volley on one of the lower level missions.
Or guy and point or lower.
And then in here, this is just kind of a filler mod because I'm actually missing one of the avionics that I really want to try, which is the avionic that increases your speed by a great amount whenever you are not near enemies. But for now...
Oh, okay, interesting. So, Brozyme is pretty keen to try out, or at the time at least, Brozyme was pretty keen to try out... Fuck, what's it called? I have it! Friggin'... cruising speed. Cruising speed. At the time of his recording, cruising speed was actually broken. It didn't work. Am I covering it? Okay. At the time of the recording, cruising speed was broken. It didn't work. As of right now, cruising speed works. I still maintain that cruising speed somehow keeps going despite the fact that there are enemies near me because I don't notice a difference. But, assuming it is working as intended, it's pretty good. I am a little bit disappointed though that he doesn't have any artillery avionics. So just keep in mind we're currently watching a ship that has no forward artillery, no artillery cheap shot. Let's see how he goes against cruise ships.
Just using ordnance cheap shot, which just gives me like a 50% chance to not consume munitions whenever I fire my Q, which is just the homing rocket. Then in terms of tacticals, I'm actually able to fit a couple tacticals here. I have an unranked fire suppression, which just puts out one fire. This costs like a small enough amount that I just threw it in here because it seems like it'll be convenient in some cases. Very much not needed at all. And then I have...
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he'll get rid of it.
Have Death Blossom here. So Death Blossom I have used very, very sparingly, as in most cases at this point it is not required because the heat accretion has been lowered a significant amount to be manageable just on your own. But it still seemed like it deserved a slot down here while I have the points for it. If I find something that is more useful that I'd like to slot instead, like something more expensive than Ordnance Cheap Shot here, I will probably remove this, but it is definitely a good tactical to shoot for as far as I have seen.
When Brozyme comes up with, when Brozyme eventually gets cruising speed, that's going to go from, that particular slot right there is going to go from 3 to 8. So that's a -5. He'll get rid of fire suppression because fire suppression is actually pretty useless at this particular moment in time because of the changes to hazards. So he'll have an additional 4 to go to 8. So that's a +3. At that particular moment in time, I would probably say that Brozyme needs to use something like Flow Burn, otherwise his ship is just going to be way too slow. If I were ever piloting a ship like this, I would fall asleep. I'm just going to say it right now, looking at the way that this ship has been made at this particular moment in time, even with cruising speed, because the engine is so bad, I would fall asleep. Flow Burn might at least keep me awake, but this is not a ship that I would run personally, okay?
So that is pretty much what's going on with the avionics. I think these are like considerably easier to acquire now. Things are a lot easier to understand now because there are very, very few versions of the different avionics now.
There are almost no versions, actually.
So we only have like the one bulkhead, and we only have like... We have the one hyper, or rather, we have the two. The hyperstrike is one that we have 2 of because this is one of the starter avionics. The only 2 different types of avionics we have now are the starter basic ones that only have 1 rank, and then you have the full power ones. There are no other versions anymore. There's not like 4.
Basically, they work like mods now.
Every single avionic now, they've condensed that down to be much more understandable. So if you get a hull weave, it is.
Oh my god. We're only 13 minutes in, and I've been ranting and raving for at least 20.
Going to be the hull weave you're looking for. I found that to be a great improvement. Moving on. In terms of payload, there's a Forge All button for anyone that wasn't informed. This is extremely useful. I do wish there was a setting here where after every single mission, this Forge All would just happen because I think the investment in terms of resources is low enough that you should just enter every mission with all this stuff remax because there's really no reason not to. Or maybe
1000%
give it some
agreed.
kind of cap where like it only happens whenever you're at like 999s or some kind of thing to make it so that it's always filling this stuff up for you would be much appreciated. And then besides that, let's talk about intrinsics. So as you can see, I actually have, for anyone who remembers that I was at 10,999, I actually have farmed up a full another 10 intrinsic plus about 100 other intrinsics.
Wait, I thought it was 9s all the way last time. Anyway,
intrinsic.
The fact that, as of his recording, him being 10,999 allegedly, he was way ahead than me. And at the time of recording, I think he was like, he's slightly ahead of me now. At the time of recording. Oof. At the time, oof.
Rates were doubled, which is up.
I had 10-8-8-10 at the time of recording. This is right after Scarspear. I had 10-8-8-10. Someone hasn't been playing Scarspear.
Big help. And based on my testing on the PTS,
or at least the space part of Scarspear,
it actually feels like they were increased maybe a little bit more, which has felt really nice overall.
No, they're easy enough as is.
29, because for those that don't know, each of these trees from 0 to 10 contains 15,000 MR. So there's 60k MR here in total for all 40 ranks that we can get so far, and there's going to be another 15k for the command intrinsic whenever that comes out. But yeah, this has actually been not a bad experience getting these intrinsics, and that is because the railjack is fun to use now. And
The railjack has always been fun to use.
That's a wild thing to say considering the state it was in prior, but I do legitimately think that railjack is actually worth
But
playing
I'm glad
now,
he's finally
because
enjoying himself. It's good
just
that he is
are
finally
an
enjoying
effective
himself.
Fighter. And on top of that, it's more active with being able to give you the rewards out of the mode. And what I mean by that, I'll get into whenever we go over the missions here in a moment. So, from the missions, a few things.
Hotfix? What hotfix? There's supposed to be not hot. There's supposed to not be a hotfix for the next however long until Deadlock Protocol comes out. I might actually have to split this video reaction into two because it's like 12:30 in the morning, and I'd like to go to sleep. So maybe I will continue tomorrow when I stream, but let's just keep going for a bit more.
Things to note. Starting off with a railjack that has nothing on it. Starting off on Earth, where you start from the posit cluster, guns feel fine. Feels good. Feels absolutely reasonable to play. I think it's even totally reasonable that you could solo stuff. So that is...
You really should not be soloing railjack at the start. You really should not be soloing railjack at the start, really. But... And what?
Fantastic, because the beginning stuff feels good and not like you should just jump out and start using your arc wing. Great success on DE's part from...
That being said, though, I think the Arcwing damage nerf has been removed. When that patch note came in that said Arcwing damage has been normalized, quote unquote, I feel like what has happened is that the Arcwing damage nerf has therefore been removed. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night for now. We'll continue next time. Probably tomorrow, so we'll just see how that goes. So, hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Sandra, keep going throughout the star chart. Enjoy yourself. Take it slow. If you have any questions, feel free to just hit me up in like comments, either in the community tab or in videos and all that jazz, whatever. Just hit me up if you have any random questions. I can try and help you out as much as I can. For everyone else, and Sandra, I guess, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like this stream, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Probably a good idea. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoy this. I keep screwing up this ending. So, until next time, probably tomorrow. We'll see. I'll see you guys then. Bye.